airport, and there was a sports bar. And so I saw that there was hoops on from a distance, and I went in to find out what hoops. What are they watching?
Right.
Remember, they do have an NBA team there.
Yes. What are they watching?
They were watching college hoops. And then what college games? Put it this way. The Pacers were on last night, although actually, God, when we landed, no, the game was on. The sports bar I went into didn't even have the Pacers on. But it had Duke Baylor and Northwestern Arizona State.
You got to love it.
And so I thought, Then checking out the price of gas, driving on the highway. Saw $2.65 a gallon. Like, that ain't bad.
When I drive to and from Nashville, I would always stop in.
Georgia's got cheap gas.
Do they? Okay, good to know. But yeah, Indiana was always that state for me. Driving to and from, once you get to Kentucky, it's up there.
Louisiana, Mississippi, cheap gas. Cheap gas.
Yeah, I'm just getting in the Twitch stream. The backdrop of the hotel is pretty amusing. It's different.
Yeah, well. Look at this. AJC, Wancho, Baby Jules, Paul, Mongo, Ambient. Boom, boom, boom. This is like a who's who of early signing period right here.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Good morning. So, David, are you all prepped for tonight, or do you do your prep like the day of?
I did half the prep on the second flight.
Okay. That is a great way to pass the time on a flight, I guess. As long as you don't get nauseous or anything.
So depending on how I feel after the show, I'll either do the rest of my scorebook and then nap, or I'll nap and do my scorebook. Team meal at 3:15, boys.
Is that a good time or a bad time?
Well, Trent, you don't know me. There's never a bad time. Actually, 2:45, they changed it.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. We have just 2 more shows till Christmas, just 4 more days until the big fella makes his appearance. How's your week going? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. I'm in West Lafayette, Indiana.
That screams Florida Sports Network right there.
No question about it. I'm here just for Trent. He's the big college basketball fan. Mark, you and I both doing some scouting this weekend. Pretty generous, the new guy and all around Christmas. And, you're headed to Pittsburgh. And, I'm headed to Big Ten country. You're going, of course, to the heart of the ACC.
Exactly.
Right. So we're both going to take in some college hoops and then report back early next week. So you'll be in Pittsburgh doing the show tomorrow, right?
That is correct. Tomorrow and Tuesday, I'll be doing the show from the Berg.
Huh. All righty then. Ooh. So you're going to be doing it at the in-laws' house?
Yep. Right like you when you go to your mom's and you do the show basically in the dining room, right?
Oh, yeah. Very
when
much
at your
in the
mom's
dining
house.
room. Right.
That's where I'll be set up. in the mother-in-law's dining room.
Is
You know
there
what I'm
like
going to do? You know what I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm already planning this. I'll let everybody in on a little surprise. Just for you, David. I'm going to see if I can out-eat you during the show.
is this to get back at me for all the eating I do during the show?
You're
I'll
damn
take
right.
David minus 500 on that.
He's on the road, though.
Yeah.
He's in a
but
hotel.
That's not going to stop him from going to the desk.
Well, but the thing is, I only have what I've purchased. Okay, think about it. Mark's fridge that he can raid is a fridge that is ready for a major holiday meal. And there's cupboards. There's, Mark has access to a lot more food. Now, Trent, I can out eat him, but he has access to a lot more.
Okay. Here's what I'd be
there's-
interested to see. David,
remember-
if you ever had to do a remote show from your in-laws, I would love to hear the how the heck are you at 6 a.m.
It's been done. It's been done. Trent, you just heard it the other day at 3 a.m. in Seattle.
Have you ever gotten a noise complaint in a hotel?
Once.
How did that go?
Well, what don't answer the door. I'm on the air. I just don't know what to tell you. I let the front desk know. Listen, they had me last night. I got to the hotel before the reason I'm here, by the way, I picked up a side gig because I only had 4 jobs. So I picked up a 5th. I'm broadcasting about 8 Jacksonville men's basketball games this year. They happen to be playing the number 1 team in the country tonight, Purdue. One of those guarantee games. They get a check, Purdue gets a win. That's the guarantee. So I check into the, what am I in here? A Hampton Inn and Suites. And, quick sidebar. So I have to admit, the Jacksonville people have been great because they had a guy who had the job 12 years and he left. He got another job. The season had already started. And I had sent everybody in town emails when I got here saying, hey, if anything ever opens up, call me. And they called. And they're like, we really need you. And I'm like, oh, okay. But listen, believe it or not, I'm not high maintenance. But I got this radio show, which means I kind of have to travel, not when you travel. And I need to stay by myself because I can't have a roommate because, I make a lot of noise for 4 hours. And by the way, you probably need to put me by myself in a hotel. Like put me in storage. I can't be around people. I make a lot of noise. So I rent my own car. I don't travel with the team. I rent with Mark. They gave me a red Mustang.
That's perfect for you.
Oh my goodness.
Because it's not like you're not driving 95 miles an hour down the highways of any part in the country when you're driving. You drive fast. I mean, you think
Yes.
you're Jeff Gordon out there.
Yes. And they gave me my car, the car I always dreamed of having. I couldn't believe it. I got the email from Avis and they said, go to spot F13. And there's a red Ford Mustang. I went, what? Well, for me? And so you're right, Mark. I'm flying, I think it's 65 north, connects Indianapolis eventually to Chicago. And I looked at the speedometer. I went, I'll be damned. I'm going 92. I'll be damned. Didn't feel a thing. Wow. This could get me in a lot of trouble. So anyway, I checked in and I said, okay, here's the deal. Fat, make a lot of noise, put me somewhere. And so I don't know if there's anyone staying on this floor. So I don't think I'm going to get a noise complaint. I got the pillows set up as soundproofing, though, in front of me. That's what I do. I use pillows as soundproofing. All right.
Well, there's probably 10 of them in a hotel room, right?
Let's see. There's 8, and I'm using 4 of them. So that's all we got.
Behind the scenes.
Listen, don't laugh. And Mark can attest. My soundproofing is better than the studio soundproofing he's sitting in.
There's no doubt. The only soundproofing there's around here today is it's a couple days before Christmas, and I can't imagine anybody's working in this building today. There's less people in this building today than will be in that hotel on that floor that's empty.
So I'm in West Lafayette, Indiana. Tomorrow, Mark will be in Pittsburgh. If we could just get Trent to produce the show from where his family is going to gather in Nashville at the same time, be tremendous.
If it was possible, we'd pull it off.
Yeah, all I'd have to do is just load up the 19
The 8-track. Load up the 8-track.
How would you ever get this thing through an airport?
You know what you do? You walk up to TSA and you go, "Don't worry about it. It doesn't work." All right, only half the time. Okay, here, hit it hard on the side. Let's see if we can get it to work. So I did a little R&D, boys.
All
Flew
right.
into Indianapolis, and yeah, well, Mark, that's our thing, right? We ask our listeners to do research and development. The least the co-host can do is put a little time and effort into the show, right?
Absolutely.
So we land and walking off the airplane. A long walk in the airport, nice airport, and I see a sports bar of some kind. And it's around 9-ish. And I'm like, what are the people in Indianapolis watching on a Wednesday night at 9 o'clock? After all, they got an NBA team. And I see basketball on the TV from a distance, and I go, wow, they're watching the Pacers. Pacers are playing tonight. I walk in, Pacers game can't be found anywhere. But man, they got their college basketball on. Duke, Baylor, Northwestern, Arizona State, little Villanova, Creighton on FS1. Oh, yeah, all over it. I literally went to the bar. I go, anybody asked to put the Pacers game on? He went, no, man, you. I go, no, I'm just passing through. I'm good.
Yeah, it's
Now,
college basketball country.
Now, granted, people in a hotel, or airport, how many of them are from Indianapolis?
But they're probably from Indiana.
Right. So I found that interesting because also the Pacers are entertaining. They're above 500 and they're entertaining. You know, Halliburton and all. I mean, Mark, they nearly won the damn in-season tournament. They would have hung the banner.
I got a random text from a buddy on that, just out of nowhere, middle of the day on Tuesday, that just said the Lakers hanging a banner and having a ceremony for the in-season tourney is one of the most laughable and weakest events in recent sports history.
Okay, I think everyone agrees on that. It's just they had to. They're doing the NBA a favor by doing it.
Trent, I get it. I'm just saying I'm getting random text a week after of people still bothered by that. That's all. The point I'm making is that it bothers people that much. This person happens to be a lifelong Lakers fan, and it just hit him, and he reached out, and David brought up the in-season banner and just thought I'd share.
Mark, you said something very early on. You even said it before the Lakers won it. You said you thought the team that won it was going to be forced.
Yes. And I believe that to be the case.
That if you believe the Lakers are being forced to do this?
Yes.
Boy, I hope so. I hope so.
Well, they're also doing it like high school district championships where they put up one banner and then they'll just add the years if they ever win it again.
I want Boston to win it next year.
I do too. And I want them to. There's no way, and I mean it, there is no way the Celtics would hang that banner. They would pay the fine instead.
I think it would be funny. What I would do if I were the Celtics is I would say we're having the in-season banner ceremony. I would raise the banner as it got right near the top of the rafters of the TD Bank, whatever the hell the name of the arena is now. Right. I would have the banner fall to the ground. I would have 3 masked men then grab the thing off the court and run out of the building. I mean, I would have it staged to look like this elaborate event happened. And I don't know what to tell you, NBA. The banner was stolen.
As the banner's being raised, it would be cascades of boos that would be coming down. Celtics fans would be horrified, all right? And then they would cheer wildly.
Yes, they would.
Should we let Portnoy be the one to run out on the court, scoop it up, and flee the arena?
Well, I don't want
Bill Simmons, big Celtics fan, Bill Simmons.
In masks. Then they could rip them off outside as they're throwing, like tea as they throw it into the Boston Harbor.
Wow, you're going there. I like it. Miller and Moulton, we got a good show lined up for you. Roy Cummings, next hour, he'll talk Tampa Bay Bucs. Once again, that's your first place, Tampa Bay Bucs. Hello. I mean, somebody at 7-7's got to be in first in that division.
Well, there's so much on the line for the Bucs now.
Yeah.
I mean, a coach's future, a quarterback's future. There's a lot that they're playing for right now.
Don't you think Baker's kind of solidified a job next year somewhere? He's got to be somebody's starting quarterback next year.
Perhaps, but if they end up not winning the division and Bowles is fired, he's done. I think he's done in Tampa.
Okay, but don't you think he's the quarterback somewhere? I mean, for goodness sakes, Atlanta would jump up and down for Baker Mayfield right now.
Okay. And they jump up and down, sure, but this would then be another system, and we don't know how it would work. I mean, Baker's done pretty well here, but I think I think Bowles and Baker are kind of a package deal in Tampa right now.
Okay. We're going to check in on early national signing period, and we're going to go to Gainesville. Edgar Thompson covers the Gators for the Orlando Sentinel. And listen, there are some of you that are still alive in your fantasy football leagues. So we feel, listen, we've helped get you this far. At least we hope we helped. So we're going to have the doc make another house call. Don't know how many he's got left in him, quite frankly. Because once the doctor goes on vacation, who knows when he'll come back. So Dr. Roto, a couple hours from now. I don't know. I think that's pretty good. Second to last show before Christmas. Miller and Moulton. We will talk about the early signing period and how things went for the Florida schools next.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail.
Have a Molly Christmas, a Molly-made Christmas. Give your family a gift of a clean house. When you're looking for professional house cleaning services, you want to make sure that you find a team that can accommodate your budget, schedule, and cleaning preference. Molly Maid is proud to provide thousands of families across the country with industry-leading services tailored to their specific needs. Call Molly Maid today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I have people commenting to me about, in a good way, about how entertaining and how much love we've given Todd and Jason. And I thought to myself, I go, Mark should go in and go, boys, prices are going up. Here you go.
I was there yesterday. You know who won? You know who won Christmas? My wife.
They always do.
She gave Santa a run for his money. Santa's undefeated, untied, and unscored upon, but I think my wife's in the red zone. That's all I'm saying.
Has she ever lost?
She got 2 tight ends. She got in the red
Mark,
zone.
you're
She can
like-
run the ball.
You're like Tom Brady in the fourth quarter. Always deliver, no matter what. No matter what the game looks like.
Holiday tipping is on the local news. How about holiday giving it away? Is that on the news? Hey, I have too much money. You look like you need some. Would you like some?
I'm going to start driving to Jacksonville. Just follow your wife around.
Yeah. Go undercover as a
Yeah.
homeless person.
Should be able to get. Well, it's this time of year, though. I will say, her dad was a minister, and she's got the whole. It's a very important time of the year for her, and this is when I get told how lucky we are, how fortunate we are, and it's difficult to combat that the way that I'd like to, because that's a little too much snark for this time of year. So I just have to sit and take it and say yes, we're very fortunate. Yes, I have 5 jobs and no health insurance, but very fortunate.
There's the snark.
Well, I do get that one in, because that is a sore subject with her too. It's why she's working one of the 2 worst jobs of her life right now, because it's actually getting us some health insurance. Because our health insurance was going to be $2,200 a month otherwise. Paul, there's no way I'm folding them now. What, are you kidding me? Come on now. Besides, we're still fond of each other. I have a whole bag of donuts. I stopped at a convenience store in between the highway and the hotel, loaded up on Gatorade Zero, caffeine, and a whole big thing of donuts. They were out of Pop-Tarts. They were out of the bars that I need to eat. And so I just said, blanket. I'm going big bag of chocolate donuts. So I'll hold off for as long as I can.
Chase it with some tuna mac.
No, I don't have that option here. Once again,
A bag of donuts.
Yeah.
You two and your bags of donuts.
Oh, that's right.
I got Joey bag of donuts 1 and Joey bag of donuts 2. Oh, they're Little Debbie.
Mini frosted donuts. Here you go.
Oh, okay. So it's the cake donut with it's chocolate covered. I thought you meant like chocolate, an actual chocolate donut. You know,
I'm on the road at a convenience store in West Lafayette, Indiana. What the hell do you think I'm getting?
That's fair. Have you seen Campus yet?
No. Plane landed at 9:00 in Indianapolis.
I didn't know you.
No, got a car, drove to West Lafayette, got the room, made sure I'm not going to,
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. I'm in West Lafayette, Indiana. I just wanted to see Purdue basketball. Number 1 team in the country. Got the Zach Edey guy. Dipped into the Florida Sports Network budget. And here I am. No?
Works for me.
Right. Mark hasn't seen Pittsburgh in a while, so he's going tomorrow. Let's catch a little ACC basketball.
Right.
So, we're doing some research and development for our listeners here, since it's college basketball season and all. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. It was college football season yesterday. Big day.
It was. And a DJ and an LJ stayed in Gainesville.
They did.
That was big.
Good thing.
Because they lost some others.
Yeah, they did.
They did not finish. They finished strong with their 2 big commits, and that is huge for the Gators, particularly the quarterback.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. If they had lost either one, but especially the quarterback, then, it's rent, don't buy. Absolutely. So, listen, coming off a 6-7 and 5-7 to have a consensus top 15 class in the country is usually pretty good. I mean, in fact, Mark, we've made the Mike Norvell Florida State comparison for at least a year now with Billy Napier and the Gators. If I remember correctly, after Norvell started 3-6 and 5-7, that Mike Norvell was being given credit coming off of 2 seasons where they went 8-13, never mind what Willie Taggart went before that Norvell was being given credit for having a top 15 recruiting class in between years 2 and 3 in his tenure. Now, the difference, and we've said it, the Florida State was they had their NIL act together immediately. That's when it really started to hit. And they have hit the portal and NIL very effectively from day one. The Gators completely messed theirs up. And it has certainly set Napier and the program back. And they're still behind when it comes to NIL. They're catching up. They've picked up a half a dozen really good players in the transfer portal. They've also lost 2, 3, 4 really good players off their 5-7 team in the transfer portal. So how much progress are they making? They're making progress, but they got a long ways to go. On paper, it looks like Norvell made a lot more progress in between years 2 and 3 than Napier has so far. And of course, Billy's playing in the SEC.
According to 24/7, the Gators with the 16th class in the country. But here are the SEC teams that did better than the Gators. Tennessee, LSU, Oklahoma, Auburn, Texas, Alabama, and Georgia.
So 16th in the country, but 8th in your conference.
And 3rd in the state. Because the Noles had the 9th rated class and the U had the 3rd rated class. Mario Cristobal had another great day in the recruiting trail.
It's yet to pay dividends on the field in terms of wins and losses. What is Mario, 12-12 as head coach of the Canes, 5-7, 7-5, heading into their bowl game? But he has crushed it, has revamped the roster. I mean, in theory, they should bust through soon, right?
Yes, they should.
It also shows once again, Miami's got their NIL act together. Even if it's not courtesy of John Ruiz anymore, they've got their NIL act together. And this is how well things are going at Florida State. Yeah, you could look at the downside. 13-0 left out of the playoffs. Damn near every good player on the team seemingly is not going to play in the Orange Bowl. They're going to lose 104-3 against Georgia, and then they're going to get mocked. But when you lose arguably your top 2 recruits that you had on the board, and you end up with either the 5th or 6th best recruiting class in the country, that's when we got it going on. We're doing okay. We are doing okay. For what it's worth, UCF, best recruiting class ever, according to the recruiting experts. Mark, I saw a stat yesterday about UCF. I want to make sure I got this. They have 8 4-stars.
That's right.
In the last 6 recruiting periods, they had 4 total. So they didn't double what they did last year. They doubled what they've done in the last half dozen years in terms of high-end talent.
Just a couple of teams that UCF's ahead of in national recruiting rankings, according to 24/7. They did better than Iowa, Washington, Mississippi State, Virginia Tech, Michigan State. These are schools that UCF out-recruited. 8 4-star commitments. That is enormous for UCF.
And I read a story last night in which they said, Georgia and Alabama are going to get all the plaudits for being the one or second best recruiting class in the country. They said, but Mark, that category in boxing, pound for pound, the best fighter in the sport. They said, well, let me tell you something. Pound for pound, the school that did the best on the recruiting trail, South Florida. A consensus top 50 recruiting class. Do we need to rattle off the number of Power 5 schools that there are? It's in the mid-60s. And yet they, not in a Power 5, although they will be soon, once again, Miller and Moulton stating they will be in the ACC in 2 years. The ACC is going to look very different, but South Florida will be in it. But back to South Florida. Best recruiting class ever. Top 50 class, Alex Golish and his staff getting major plaudits around the country, and the consensus best group of 5 recruiting class in the country.
I know we're focusing on the Florida teams here, but did you happen to see the size of the 5 or 6 linemen that Georgia brought in?
No. Was it a human eclipse?
It's 5 guys that are all 6'6" and bigger, all 315 and bigger. And I just go back to thinking, and obviously kids are bigger now, but I just go back to thinking in high school, lining up and across from you is a 6'8", 315-pound senior tackle.
Right. And imagine the all-county defensive end who's 6'3", 215.
Right.
Right, but has a frame in which they go, oh, he can put 30, 40 pounds on. Uh-huh. Well, that's good because he's giving up 110 pounds going up against the tackle. Hey, Coach, can we run behind me? I think I can take this guy. So it's, listen, it's early signing. These freshmen not expected to make an immediate impact. We know the drill, but it's just you're recruiting as many good players as you can. There's a lot of player movement nowadays. You hold on to the talent as best you can. But on paper, and you know how much the paper's worth, but on paper, that's the scorecard after the first day of the early signing period. So
Florida expected to have a top 10 class, ended up 16th. It did not go as well for the Gators as they had hoped, but they kept their 2 big prize targets and got both of them to Gainesville. That's key.
They kept the DJ and an LJ. Miller and Moulton. M&M. The starting 5 is next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Have a Molly Christmas, a Molly-made Christmas. Give your family a gift of a clean house. When you're looking for professional house cleaning services, you want to make sure that you find a team that can accommodate your budget, schedule, and cleaning preferences. Molly Maid is proud to provide thousands of families across the country with industry-leading services tailored to their specific needs. Call Molly Maid today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Whew.
Phil Donahue's 88.
Yes, Paul. They gave me a JU polo, green and white. They gave me a couple of like workout t-shirts. Well, Wes, Hugh and Auburn had a good day yesterday. Well, they got a long way to go, 6-16, but
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Roy Cummings an hour from now. Dr. Roto 2 hours from now. For those of you who have a chance to, well, really win some money. As Dr. Roto likes to say, be his rich friend. So that's what's coming up on the show, the second to last show before Christmas. We will not do a show on Christmas Day. We will be doing a show on the day after Christmas. The morning after the Niners and Ravens get it on and what could be a Super Bowl preview. If I gave you $20 right now, would you bet on that as the Super Bowl or no?
No. I think San Francisco gets there, but I mean, it's the safest bet, but I'm not sold that Baltimore. The AFC to me is so tight that I think I would take the field if you're going to give me the field in the AFC.
Okay. Fair enough. We'll talk some football coming up. It is, after all, time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Well, let's start with the NFL. Why not? People seem interested. Battle of 7-7 teams. You got the 9 seed visiting the 7 seed tonight, Mark. Saints at Rams. 5 years ago, these teams played in the NFC Championship game. Rams, a 4-point favorite at home, Mark. Over-under's 46.5. So you're looking at a little 25-21 action, give or take a half a point. Saints have won 2 in a row, yet find themselves losing a tiebreaker to the Bucs for the NFC South and losing a tiebreaker to get in as a wild card. Saints are 4-5 in the NFC. That's not a good conference record with 3 conference games left. It screams that New Orleans needs this one desperately. Rams have won 4 of 5, averaging 30 points a game during those 5 games. They have an above 500 conference record. Rams have a winning record at home. Saints have a losing record on the road. Place your bets accordingly. Saints at Rams, 8:15 tonight on Amazon. College football. Man, Jim Harbaugh just doesn't like abiding by the rules. For supposedly such a, dork.
Well, I mean, David, he said that they will run their program as clean as any program in the country. I mean, he said it. So how could they have done anything wrong?
Well, either that or the NCAA just is really out to chase them to the NFL. Because Michigan got a notice of recruiting violations yesterday. Now, I have to admit, this goes all the way back to the COVID dead period. I mean, this is going back, a couple of 2-3 years. But still, it's considered a level 1 violation. And, that, they do it. Level 1's actually the most serious. And 2, 3, and what have you are less serious. So this is another, and they're accusing Harbaugh once again of, withholding information and or not telling the truth. Now, of course, if he's in the NFL, this doesn't really mean anything. But so who knows when this gets dealt with by the NCAA, if it amounts to anything.
Cheaters, David. They're cheaters.
I don't know. It's a mess. But Michigan, Alabama in 2 weeks, and nobody cares about anything else. Washington State, Oregon State. They appear headed to the Mountain West for the next 2 years in multiple sports, including basketball. For football, they've reached kind of a Notre Dame compromised for the next couple of years. They're going to play 6 games each against Mountain West teams, but they will not count in the Mountain West standings. Just like Notre Dame plays 5 games a year against ACC schools. Those games do not count in the standings for anyone involved. First day of early signing period was yesterday. Florida State lost a 5-star safety to Georgia and a 4-star defensive end to Miami, but yet still had a consensus top 10 class. Some even feel top 5. The Gators held on to quarterback DJ Lagway and defensive lineman LJ McCray, but suffered 10 decommits from what was a top 3 class a month ago and are now being thought of more as a top 15 class in the country. Miami, consensus top 5 class, anywhere from 3rd. I've seen them as low as 6th. But basically, Canes top 5. Knowles on the edge of a top 5, definitely top 10. UCF, best recruiting class ever, 8 4-stars, considered the 3rd best recruiting class in the Big 12. Colorado and Texas Tech. Keep Texas Tech in mind when
they're spending a lot of money on facilities there. They're
Yes.
flush with cash and they're spending it, David.
Mm-hmm. And this just in, football in Texas, kind of important. So Colorado, Texas Tech, UCF considered the top 3 schools in Big 12 recruiting yesterday. South Florida being given a lot of kudos today. Best group of 5 recruiting class in the country. Many people feel, although Liberty getting high marks. A top 50 class, most of the recruiting services feel. And tonight, South Florida getting 3 points against Syracuse in the Boca Raton Bowl. Huh? What are you more interested in? Saints, Rams, Bulls, Orange.
Bulls orange.
There you go. I think they're both on at the same time. College hoops. We had some upsets last night.
Yeah, we did.
Remember, it's this crazy time of year when kids mentally, they're tired. They want to spend some time with family, and they're done. And some crazy things can happen. Some kids have shut it down, and some kids are fired up. Villanova hadn't played in 10 days. They went to Creighton, rallied from 10 down at the half, beat a top 12 team in the country in overtime, 68-66.
That's the 2nd loss in a week for Creighton, isn't it?
Yes. How about Seton Hall at home last night?
How about Seton Hall last night? Whooping up on UConn.
Whooping up on the 5th-ranked Huskies, 75-60. Duke won the showdown with Baylor, 78-70.
Pretty
Carolina,
good game, by the way. Watched
Yeah.
most of that. That was a pretty entertaining game.
From what I saw, it looked like Duke kind of Heisman them, though. They kind of got
Second
up
half,
on them.
they did. It was close, and then about midway through the second half, Duke kind of put their arm out and said, we're going to win.
Carolina, by the way, took it to 7th-ranked Oklahoma, 81-69. Just keep this in mind come March when we're debating bids and seedings and what have you. The ACC's won like every challenge so far you can win. They have a winning record against Big Ten teams. They're like 9-3 against the Big 12 so far this year. Just, last year I think the ACC only got like 5 schools, and there was complaining. The ACC should get the benefit of the doubt this year, at least based on what's happened in non-conference play so far. By the way, Bethune-Cookman lost by 1 at Chicago State last night on the men's side. Remember, Chicago State had that big upset at Northwestern just a week ago. Women's action. Oh, my goodness. Who didn't win in the state of Florida? Florida State, Florida, Miami, FGCU, South Florida, Stetson, FIU, North Florida. They all won. Bethune and Jacksonville lost. NBA. Heat were shorthanded. Magic were 5.5-point favorites. Come on, it's the Heat against the Magic. What do you think happened? Exactly. Miami jumped out to a 20-point lead, held off the Magic, 115-106. Tyler Hero with 28. Magic have lost 3 straight. You think the radio guys ever going to come on our show again?
Nope. That's it.
We brought him on a week ago. I think it was a week ago today. We said, hey, you're headed to Boston. Played Celtics in 2. And then, tough part of the schedule. We went through it. Heat, Bucs. How do you think they'll do? I don't know. We'll have to see and find out. So far, 0-3.
Everybody's taking this my Orlando team seriously right now.
Exactly. First 23 games, not so much.
It was cute then, David. Now
can only play the Pistons and the Wizards so many times, Mark. Knicks beat Brooklyn for the first time in 4 years in Brooklyn. I mean, it's such a long road trip from Manhattan to Brooklyn. 121-102 Knicks. Good one in Philly last night. Sixers pulled away in the fourth quarter. This just in. Joel Embiid won the MVP last year. He's playing much better this year. Minnesota's got Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns. Now, granted, Towns couldn't guard you. And that's whoever's out there feels they're you. Mark, Trent, me, you who's listening. Towns couldn't guard you. But Rudy Gobert's won like Defensive Player of the Year. Embiid had 51 last night. Philly beat Minnesota, who came in with the best record in the league, 127-113. Don't look now, but the Clippers got it going on. Do you know Kawhi Leonard's played every game this year?
That's remarkable in and of itself.
Think of all the injuries. And Kawhi's comment right before the season started, remember Adam Silver was talking about load management and we were really trying to emphasize the stars playing. And Kawhi scoffed at it. Basically said, I'll play when I want to. He's played every game this year. He's been really good. He's been, Kawhi Leonard. James Harden's in shape and he's happy. He's hitting shots and doing snow angels on the court. He's so happy. Clippers have won 9 in a row. They beat Dallas in Dallas, 120-111. And Mark, if somebody flew into the world for the first time and they didn't know anything about the NBA and said, hey, what is the NBA like in 2023? You'd want to show them the Celtics-Sacramento Kings game from last night. Because the Kings made 21 threes and lost by 25. The Celtics had 5 players score 20 or more points. That ties an NBA record. It's been done like 24 times. Yeah. Sacramento scored 119 points at home and lost by 25. 144-119 to the Celtics, who didn't even have Jason Tatum. Yeah. Uh-huh. There was like 93s attempted in the game last night.
A lot of defense in that game.
No doubt.
A lot of December defense in the NBA.
A lot of, Wednesday night Sacramento teams are really hunkering down. NHL, the Caps. Remember it was like a month ago? We said, man, they look old. They look slow. Since then, they've been like one of the 5 best teams in the league. Miller and Moulton, the hockey experts. There's no doubt about it. 3-2 over the Islanders in overtime. Ovechkin did have a helper on the power play on the game winner. Hey, your guys' Wings.
Oh, no. They're on a skid right now. They got to figure this out.
They're 1-6-1 in their last 8. They lost to Winnipeg, who moved into first place last night with the 5-2 win over Detroit. Patrick Kane did score his second goal. This skid, by the way, pretty much coincides to when Kane joined the team.
Not pretty much. Entirely coincides with it.
And he's not playing badly. He's got a couple goals. I mean, his plus minus is okay. He's generating offense, but they're struggling. And Seattle went into Los Angeles, beat the Kings. Good win for the Kraken.
Look, you just don't want the Kings when they come to your barn. They're like 13-1-1 on the road this year.
Exactly. Seattle 2-1 over LA. Trent's probably mad at me because I threw in a Pistons crack and I mentioned how much the Wings are suffering. Maybe he'll remember the fact I talked about Michigan's notice of recruiting violations. So he'll play.
Once you said that, it's all. I blacked out after you talked about
Okay.
Michigan. All good.
So at 8 minutes before the hour, maybe Trent will hit the button, bang the 8-track on the side. It's time for
That was the starting five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
So there you go. I mean, I don't know how much, I saw some stuff on Twix and what have you, folks really wanting to dive into the early signing. If we get a little too much more into this, Mark, I was doing a show solo and Mark was working for the hockey team at the time. And I used to just go hog wild on this recruiting and it's talking about
Hog wild.
And Mark and I were having a beer one night and he said, listen, I like your show, but man, my eyes glassed over. You were doing that, recruiting thing. I don't know anything. Nobody knows any of these players. What are you doing talking about this senior in Lakeland, for goodness sakes? And I was like, huh.
To me, what's significant, it's now 3 years Mario's put really good classes together. That should start paying dividends. By according to the Bud Elliott's of the world that chalk the blue chip recruits, you have to have a certain number of them to compete. Miami's getting in that area code. Florida State's in that area code. Will the Gators get in that area code?
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best, and the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. By the stars, DC. 4-star or above is considered a blue chip.
There's this thing called the Blue Chip Index, in which if you have 50% or more of your roster, that's considered blue chippers. then those are the teams that can legitimately compete for the national championship.
And maybe it's
And usually it's around 15 schools who end up with rosters that have 50 or more percent of blue chippers. TCU was the outlier last year.
And according to Bud, that's 4 and 5 star recruits.
Napier just has to survive this year. And it's
How
gonna
many
be so
games does he
hard.
win to survive? I mean, if he wins 6, does that survive?
I think he may need 7. It depends. He's got to, Mark, if it's 6, he's got to get a big one.
Hold on. You guys sound like some Gator haters.
Don't start.
You guys seem to enjoy the Gator downfall. Sorry, I can't help myself.
Wow. Just what we need. Snark coming back at us. 6:58 a.m.
That texter yesterday got me
I
going.
know. I know.
All right.
Please, that's kind. Should read you some of the texts.
I should put that. I should probably get that.
Mark. The only time Mark was like really compassionate to me about my career. Hey, you don't read the comments after you write those columns, do you? No. Yeah, don't, man. I'm like, but my mom does. He's like, yeah, you got to get her to stop. They're not good.
Oh, man, they were awful.
First one. When Mark is saying, hey, man, this is tough. I'm like, damn. I know somebody who had Villanova on the money line last night. When they were down 10 at the half, he doubled down on it. How about that for winning some money last night? It's Matthew Stafford against Derek Carr. Who do you have confidence in?
My only question is, do I play Matthew Stafford tonight? I'm in a bind.
Uh-oh. It's Sean McVay against Dennis Allen. Who do you have confidence in tonight? Games in L.A. I'm laying the points. Short week this time of year.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It's hour 2 of Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. I'm in West Lafayette, Indiana. Why? Well, I'd never seen Purdue's campus before. I'm 58 years old. I figured, I didn't realize it was on my bucket list, but, it was down near the bottom. Mackey Arena. No, broadcasting game tonight, Jacksonville, they're going to lose to Purdue. But I get a chance to see Zach Edey and the number 1 team in the country. Mark just wants to check out some ACC basketball, so he's going to Pittsburgh tomorrow.
Well, that and a little Steeler football. I mean, yeah, I've been wanting to see Mason Rudolph. He was on my bucket list to see live in person, David. So,
hey, is it going to be Rudolph, or is the kid going to come back and play? What are we hearing? What do we know?
Right now, I think it's still Rudolph.
Unbelievable. But
we gotta ask Pat Kerwin about that.
well, see, yesterday, guys hadn't really practiced yet. It's if they can practice by Friday. If they're practicing by Friday, they're playing.
Right. Like Tyreek Hill didn't practice yesterday. And McDaniel even said it's just not anything to worry about.
Yeah, there's no need to. He doesn't need to practice on a Wednesday.
Especially at this point in the season, too.
Yeah, this time of the year, a lot of times the veterans between Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they only practice 2 of those 3 days anyway. So I found it interesting yesterday. I was listening to Pat's show, and a Packers fan and Packers fans were calling in, and they're like, the season's over. I'm like, wait a minute. The math equation you guys are doing is very different than the math equation Miller and Moulton are doing. We look at it as, let me get this straight. If you win out, you get to 9, and you're in the NFC, right? When's the last time we thought 9 wins in the NFC was not going to get you in? I mean, it's
not like you have murderer's row. Now, you did lose 2 games that you felt with the Giants and Bucs that were right there for the taking.
Certainly,
but it's Panthers, Vikings, and Bears.
Yeah, think about that. Say that murderer's row again. They're playing
at Carolina, at Minnesota, home for the Bears.
Not a winning team on the list. Vikings at 7-7, but by the time you play them, they could be 7-8 because they got Detroit this week. I mean, would it really shock anybody if Green Bay ran the table?
Yes.
It would shock you, not surprise you. It would shock you.
Word choice. Yeah, you're correct. It would not shock. It would shock me if they ran the table.
Well, David, I shocked is a little strong. I'd be very, very, very surprised.
The way Jordan Love's played lately.
But not just they're mediocre. It's not
right.
It's just there's a reason why they're a 500 team.
Correct.
Teams like that don't go on 3-game winning streaks. They're not good enough to do it. They just lost to the Giants.
Yes. Now, I will say they've been a bad road team all year. It's the home loss to the Bucs that is the one that I think has deflated that franchise and their fan base because they had been a pretty good home team. Last time they saw them at home, didn't they beat Kansas City? And Jordan Love was playing well, and now all of a sudden Jordan Love's not playing well again. And next year's the last year of his contract. I mean, it is amazing, Mark. We went through the teams either earlier in the week or late last week. I think it was late last week in which we went through, okay, how many coaching changes do you think we're going to have? Boy, if we went through do you think you have your franchise quarterback? And how many teams, yes, no, maybe? You do the thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways. I mean, whoo-wee. I mean, if we played that game.
Well, and it's funny. I have a Giants acquaintance, one of the guys that works at the golf course that I played, diehard Giants fan.
Okay.
And he just kind of walks up to me and yesterday, and he goes, finally turned into the pumpkin. DeVito, that ended. He's like, okay, that's, and he's like you. He's like, that's good. They're not a good team. They need a quarterback. They need to lose some games between now and the end of the year.
Well, and that's the difficult choice that an organization has to make. Like the Giants with Daniel Jones. If we ask you the question, do you think you have your franchise quarterback? I mean, listen, the Packers gave Jordan Love the 2 years and $50 million total. But do you think he's your franchise quarterback? Or as it turns out, is he just a placeholder? Yes, the Giants drafted Daniel Jones 6th overall. Yes, they gave him a second contract at $40 million a year. But if you ask the Giants right now, do you think you have your franchise quarterback? And in parentheses, you put, or are you stuck with a guy, but you want to move on? I mean, seriously. So once again, Mark, we ask the question, do you think you have, not that you're stuck with somebody and you're playing them, but yes, no, maybe so, Mark. Here we go. You are the general manager, 32 teams. We'll start in the NFC East. Cowboys?
Yes.
Eagles?
Yes.
Washington,
No.
Giants.
No.
Okay, there's 2. Let's
Right.
go to the South. Tampa Bay.
No. And I'll do it a maybe so, but they can't think yes right now. There's no way you can think yes, Baker Mayfield's my franchise quarterback.
That's the only debatable one too to this point.
Okay, and we could get into semantics, but I like maybe so. Okay, so we got 2 no's and a maybe so. All right, Minnesota.
Okay,
Yes.
I thought we were staying in the South, but Minnesota?
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah, we'll stay in the South. Atlanta? Hell no.
No.
Carolina? Maybe so.
Maybe so.
Right. Okay. And then New Orleans.
No.
Probably just stuck with them. Right. Yeah. Okay. So we're at 4 no's and a maybe so. We've done 2 divisions. Now the North or Minnesota.
Yeah, North. Well, how
Yes.
could they have one, but are they going to keep them?
Well, but I mean, we're answering the question. You're judge and jury. Do you have your quarterback for the next 3 years? Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
Right. Get your blankety blanking gear and sign the guy. Okay. Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Goff's not a placeholder. He's your guy.
He's.
And that's fine. I'm
I
asking
think
you.
he's their guy.
Green Bay.
Yes.
Oh, first Justin Fields in Chicago.
That is the ultimate question mark. To me, I would keep him. I would build around him.
So you're a yes. We're getting a lot of no's and maybe so's. I'm listening closely right now, and I'm hearing a lot of no's and maybe so's. All right. To the west, San Francisco,
Yes.
Los Angeles,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Seattle, maybe
at best,
so.
maybe so.
Maybe so. Right. And Arizona, Kyler Murray.
They're stuck with him.
By default, that contract.
They're stuck with him.
Okay.
As the GM, my hands are tied.
Well,
I have to say yes.
Okay.
He
So
is
for
really
the record, unless I've lost track, I think you said 4 no's and a couple maybe so's.
Yep.
In the NFC.
That's in the NFC.
Right. AFC. Obviously, Buffalo's got their quarterback. Miami's got their quarterback. New England's a no.
Right. And the Jets are
And-
yes.
And the Jets have their quarterback. So we're at 5 no's if you count New England. Okay. To the north, Pittsburgh.
Maybe so. I think no.
You're
I don't
being
think
generous.
I don't think Pickett can play.
You're being generous. I think right now, if I'm running the Steelers, I have to assume the answer is no and hope that Pickett next year proves me wrong. But okay.
That's a fair answer.
So are you
The
going
other
with no
two are
or
yes.
maybe so?
I'll go with maybe so.
Okay. So we're at 5 no's and 3 maybe so's. And going down the list. Cleveland's got Watson. Cincinnati's got Burrow.
And Baltimore's got Lamar.
Okay. To the south. Jacksonville's got Trevor. Houston's got Stroud. Indianapolis.
Has
Has to-
Richardson.
Right. So we have to say maybe so because, he played.
And Tennessee thinks they have their quarterback in Levis. If you were to ask their GM, they would say yes right now.
But I'm asking you.
Maybe so.
Okay. So we're at 5 no's.
I'm not
4 maybe
ready to
so's.
bail on Will
Right.
Levis just yet.
That's fair enough. I mean, he's played 6-8 games.
Right.
So to the west, obviously, Kansas City has their quarterback.
Denver has their quarterback.
Well, do
Chargers.
they? Hold no. And I'm not being a jerk here. I'm really not. If you're Sean Payton, are you all in? Because you can get out. You'll take an unbelievable cap hit next year. But you could bail on this. You could say, listen, I didn't make this trade. And I gave it everything I had. I worked the offense around him. I called the plays, the whole deal. I ain't winning squat with him. Nope, done. Let's move on. You could do that. You could. I mean, you're running that franchise. If you go in and go, I gave it a year. I mean, he's got the Walmart guy who owns the team. I mean, they can eat the cash. I'm asking you. Yes, no, maybe so, Russell Wilson.
I'd be a no because I'm not a Russ guy.
Right.
I'd move on if I was Sean. I don't think they will.
So to David's point, just real quick, because I looked this up yesterday. They can get out of that contract this upcoming offseason, like David alluded to. They're going to have to eat that money regardless. If they do it this offseason or next, they actually get the money off the books sooner, a year sooner, I believe, if they do it this offseason. if they move on.
But it's monstrous, though.
Monstrous number.
I know, but I guess
58, 68 million, something the
Yes.
likes of which we've never seen.
To David's point, though, with Sean Payton, don't you kind of want to?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
kickstart
I mean,
that horse?
Sean's 62 years old. He gave it a year with Russ. I think Sean either ultimately decides, nope, gave it a year, sorry. Okay. Or, nah, I can work. Put the rest of the team together. We're much closer to Kansas City than I thought we were. Okay. Obviously, the Chargers have Herbert, and the Raiders are a no.
Yes.
So for the record, you're at 6 no's, 4 maybe so's. Actually, you're at 7 no's because you have Russ as a no.
Yes, that's correct.
So just for the record, you have 7 teams who absolutely need a quarterback tomorrow. And you have 4 in which you're like, well, could need a quarterback tomorrow. Not sure yet. So you could potentially have a third of the league in which you think, you know what, they need a quarterback. And you have Baker Mayfield on the maybe so list. And, when some people are like, my goodness, I'd climb over, a relative right now to get my hands on Baker Mayfield with the way he's playing. So we went through the coaches last week. We had a quarter of the league needing to find a new coach. Now we have 1/4 to 1/3 of the league needing a quarterback.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few joy stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I gotta find the specifics on that Russell Wilson stuff. I read an article yesterday, and it's like a really nerdy, weird, obscure thing with the cap, but they can, or in his contract, whatever, they can save a decent amount of that money if they get out of it now. Mark, were you ever a Russ guy, or is that a
No,
new
I've
thing?
never been a Russ guy.
Okay. Me either, really. I'm curious.
I was. Ask Mark. It was the Andrew Luck draft, and I said he was the second best quarterback in the draft.
Yep.
I bet
Nice.
And remember, RG3 went second overall.
Yeah.
And I liked Russell Wilson more than RG3. I've always been a Russ guy. He's not doing any network broadcasting. I think he's part of like a podcast, but
Who's that?
Drew Brees, I think he just decided the schedule wasn't for him. You know, the part that I am stunned that Brady's going to do, I mean, that's 20 plus consecutive weekends away from friends and family. When you're that rich and famous, you know, and you've got 3 teenagers, that's a lot.
In Finn's Brett, yes, Todd and Jason took care of me yesterday. Jason's betting hockey. Doesn't know anything about hockey, but he's betting hockey.
Boy. That apple survived just on him.
Yep, I'm winning now. I'm winning Christmas. I just took this over. I'm going to win. I'm going to spend more than she did.
Fourth quarter. Mark Miller's taking over. He's got the ball.
Okay, we're talking about this.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Roy Cummings, who covers the first place Tampa Bay Bucs, who covers the reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Week in Baker Mayfield, quarterback of the Tampa Bay Bucs. He'll join us coming up in a little more than 15 minutes' time. Edgar Thompson, who covers the Gators for the Orlando Sentinel. He will join us at the top of the hour. Early signing period got underway yesterday. Mixed bag for the Gators. Really good news for Miami. Mostly good news for Florida State. Excellent news for UCF and South Florida. We'll talk to Edgar about the Gators and Billy Napier and where the program looks 3 weeks into the transfer portal and after the first day of early signing coming up, and Dr. Roto in a little more than an hour. For those of you still alive in your fantasy league, of which Mark and Trent are both in their respective, it's semifinals, right?
That's right.
Yep. The final
Unbelievable.
foe.
Just wow.
I'm hanging a banner.
Well played, Trent. Well played.
Do we have to have a ceremony? Or are we going to cover it live on the show? I mean, you know, how you going to leave it open where you can add additional years to it if you win?
No, because I never get this far. So I'm hanging a banner every time I make the final foe. We're putting one up.
Gotcha. Listen, for those who are listening outside of the 239, you know, this is a network show for 6 to 9. And then in our final hour, we do a bonus hour for where it was that the show originated from, which is Southwest Florida. And it's sponsored by Todd and Jason, who own this place called the Diamond District. And it's a tremendous jewelry shop. And they've done a great job. And to break away and be an independent jeweler and to not only survive, but thrive the way they have for 20 years, it shows how good they are at what they do, et cetera. But Mark has gotten to know them over the years for various reasons. First, it was just a sports friendship. You know,
Right.
They love sports. Mark loves sports.
They were a sponsor of the show. We got to
Right.
know them. We did commercials with them and for them and things of that
Yeah.
nature. So we've known the two of them for 20 years. We've known them basically since they started.
But if you've been following the show over the last week or so, you realize that Mark has, had a conundrum, a dilemma, a quandary. And he thinks yesterday he solved it. I'll let Mark explain to you how he solved it. And then just like Mark just determined whether or not teams had their franchise quarterback or not, I will then play Judge Judy and render the ultimate verdict as to whether or not Mark solved his quandary yesterday.
Fantastic you went Judge Judy, because that is my mother-in-law's favorite show. I'm on my way to Pittsburgh tonight, and I'm sure at some point Judge Judy will be on the television while I'm staying at the mother-in-law's place.
Wow.
So I'm glad you went there.
It's a really entertaining family you have if she's got you guys in her house and Judge Judy's still on the TV.
Oh, she'll get an hour in. I'm telling you right now.
She'll say to her granddaughter, come here, Maddie, watch Judge Judy with Grandma.
That's right.
Okay.
So about a week ago, the wife and I were lying on the couch, and I just kind of said, hey, I know we said we weren't doing much this year for Christmas. I haven't started.
Right.
And I know you've completed Christmas shopping around Thanksgiving. So what's my number? She went, well, and I went, oh no. And then she gave the number, and it was a lot more than what she had indicated by we're not doing much for one another this year.
Now, was it like, was it like her number Otani-like in comparison to what the agreement was? I mean, just do we have, you thought you could get her at $25 million a year as to quarterback your team, and now she's getting Daniel Jones money at 40? I mean, how big was the discrepancy?
It was certainly, I needed an arbiter. David, I mean, that we were on far enough, we were apart far enough on sides on this one that we had to go to the arbiter to try to figure out what it was going to be that we were going to spend. And there's a couple different ways that you could approach this. David's first advice to me was stick to your guns, stick to the low number.
Because if you give in now, she could pull this stunt every year. Okay. She could be like Tommy DeVito's agent. All right. And sandbag you. We agreed on this. No, now it's that. Why? Because I said so.
So I at first was going to take David's early advice. David then backtracked on his early advice and thought better of it for me to try to stick to my guns.
Well, I added an addendum to the contract. I said, I give it a shot, go with it, but have a plan B, buy your Valentine's Day gift now. All right. And if sticking to your guns is going that badly, just go, look at what I found.
I caved yesterday. I went to see Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Uh-huh.
And they took care of me.
All right.
But Their sales staff is great. I knew what I was going. I knew exactly what I was going and looking for.
Okay.
And they, of course, pulled up something that was beautiful
Right.
and way out of my price range.
Of course they did. Right. And they got you, didn't they? They got you.
They got me.
So you're coming in over the top is what you're saying.
Over the top. I am off the top rope. I'm throwing the people's elbow on this marriage right now.
So
I'm winning. I am winning Christmas.
Really?
You're damn right.
How can you lose?
So once again, I get to play Judge Judy. Have you presented your case fully?
Yes.
Okay.
No further questions, Your Honor.
So I just want to review. So the agreement was A. And then she came in with B, which was 3 to 5 times the agreement.
Correct. 5 times the agreement.
And then you countered with C, which is probably double her 5 times the agreement.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you think you won.
You're damn right I did.
Right.
Could be a poll question, David.
I rule for the defendant, Mrs. Miller. And in fact, you're going to end up paying court costs. That's how much she won this.
See, I understand where you're thinking because there are a lot of different ways in which she won. But
and not only that,
the mother-in-law, the brother-in-law, and the sister-in-law all get to see the lovely gift that I bought. And I show everybody up in the whole, who's the best? This guy right here. I've won Christmas, David.
Really?
Yes.
You're spending it at your in-laws in Pittsburgh, and you spent 10 times the amount you were going to spend on Dr. Miller.
Hey, for those who took Mark Miller money line on Christmas about a week ago, when the situation was looking a lot different, they're going to cash in.
Okay, Mark. I'll tell you what, Mark. Why don't you hang your in-season Christmas banner?
You know what? That's a dadgum good point right there. I'm hanging a banner. Time now for our play of the day. I left you very little time, Trent. What do you have for us?
Okay, it's a quick one. We go to our nation's capital where the Capitals are red hot. It's 2-2 with the Islanders heading into overtime. But as David kind of said yesterday, it hasn't been Ovechkin with the cape on this season. Last night, it was Dylan Strome playing hero in overtime.
Looking to Ovechkin, who just got a new hockey stick from the bench. Spots Strome. Strome to a better shooting angle. Waits. Feeds with Ovechkin up top. Snapshot of the way. Score! Dylan Strome wins it for Washington.
Caps win it, moved to 16-9-4 on the year. 9th overtime loss of the season for the Isles. That's tough. And there's your play of the day presented by Molly Maid.
Go to mollymaid.com and make sure you tell them Miller and Moulton sent you. If you're looking for that last-minute Christmas gift, clean house is not the worst thing to give.
No, it's not.
Roy Cummings to talk Bucs. That's next right here on Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I've got to admit, the little ads that they show on X, I'm in a whole thing where I'm getting these little like cleaning, clean your shoe thing, clean the dirt out of the whatever. They all look like they work so well. None of them do. You're getting ripped off as soon as you buy it, but man, do they look like they work.
All right.
And DTW fan, there is no way buying your wife jewelry backfires. No way.
I got to Judge Julie rules with the plaintiff on that one.
And that's very cute. Pittsburgh is lovely this time of year.
Although I got to admit, so far, is there any place in the country that's having snow for Christmas?
I doubt it.
I know. It looks like it's going to be like 40s everywhere where you would think it could be snowing. I don't know if Minnesota and the Dakotas or Montana or somebody's getting snow, but.
So last night, my extended family, we do a Zoom call every Wednesday, and everyone just kind of checks in. It started during COVID, and we just haven't stopped. But last night, I made the comment of, I can't really get into the Christmas spirit because it's 72 degrees, and I just got cannibalized.
Yep.
Sounds nice. Must be nice. I'm like, yeah, I know. I didn't mean it like that.
That's when you come back with, I'm making $7 a show, right? So yes, it's 72 degrees. Okay. But I'm making $7.
Mark, do you have this might be a ridiculous question. Do you have a little list of places to go or anything to do when you're in Pittsburgh or no? Like, is there anything you got to do?
Actually, I've got to do one thing, because my son's coming for the first time. He's never been to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And he wants to go see the Miller mural, the rapper Mac Miller who died a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He wants to go see that. We'll do.
You gonna get Permanis?
Yes, because he's never had it.
Okay.
So we'll get a Permani Brothers.
Delicious.
We're going to the game. But and then my mother-in-law wants to take us to Mount Washington, where she grew up, and we're going to a really nice restaurant for dinner on Friday night. Overlooks the whole city. Very nice. Good morning, Roy.
Morning. How we doing?
Doing great. Yourself?
No complaints. All good.
You are Christmas Day, right? Driving down to Sarasota to your in-laws, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Would be the Allegheny and the Monongahela, E. Come on now. At least I've got my 3 rivers down.
It's a great trivia question. Especially for people like me who are geographically challenged.
Are you?
Oh, God, yeah.
Roy, where was home before Florida?
Chicago, Illinois. Born and raised.
I'm in West Lafayette, Indiana on 65 North, baby.
There
From
you
Indy.
go.
Kept
There
seeing
you
the
go.
Chicago signs all night.
We're neighbors. Yeah, I grew up in Lombard. It's a western suburb about 20 minutes outside. My dad took the train into the city every day.
Who's responsible for your Cubs fandom?
My mother grew up a Cubs fan herself. Her brother, who was unfortunately killed in World War II, indoctrinated her into the Cubs way back in the 30s. And
Wow. I was going to say so.
Yeah.
She was there for the Billy Goat.
And she was there, yeah. And I mean, she was a diehard. I mean, I have every day I'd come home from school, from the earliest age, I come home and she's got the Cubs game on. And so it was just natural. It was just, this is how it is. And developed that same love.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got the Mets from my dad's mom. Grandma.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Totally. She was a Brooklyn Dodgers fan. And when they left, she was
we go.
never going to root for the Yankees.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
At 22 minutes before the hour, Dr. Roto, 1 hour from now, for those of you still alive and a chance to win big bucks. Playing fantasy football, he'll make his weekly house call an hour from now. Edgar Thompson of the Orlando Sentinel. The Gators will kind of go beneath the surface. Just how are things since the season ended? Early signing started yesterday. Transfer portal wins and losses. Edgar Thompson to join us top of the hour. But it's time now for Roy Cummings. You can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at rcummingsfhcn, rcummingsfhcn. Roy, of course, here to talk about the first place Tampa Bay Bucs. Roy, we have to hand it to you once again. Okay, we have, over the many years, 15 plus, that you've been kind enough to come on our show, and we have said you are a glass half full guy, much more than you are a glass half empty guy. And you stayed glass half full with the 2023 Buccaneers, maybe even more so than their head coach, and they are rewarding both of you.
Yeah, look, I always have been a glass half full kind of guy, no matter what. But I'm realistic about the Bucs, but looking at it realistically, I thought, look, there's plenty of talent here. This team should be good enough to win as many games as it loses, at least. And, I think they've proven that. And again, look, it helps that they're in a division that is very weak, in a conference that is relatively weak. That helps. It gives them a chance on most Sundays. And really, that's all you can ask for. And look, if you get out there and you get some performances like they tend to get more often than not from Baker Mayfield, if the defense can take the ball away on occasion, which it does, and you can get, a running back like Rachaad White to start to develop as the season progresses the way he has. This guy's got a third of all their offensive yards. Only one or two or three running backs have that in the NFL. McCaffrey's one, but Rachaad White's right in there. So this is a team that's kind of finding itself as the season goes on. And look, it doesn't mean that they aren't prone to horrible mistakes and big losses that they shouldn't lose down the road here. But look, even Sunday, if a quarterback can't play for Jacksonville, watch out.
Well, and that was probably Baker Mayfield's best performance as a pro. I don't even think probably. That was his best performance as a pro. He does it on the road in Green Bay. Perfect QB rating. No road quarterback's ever done that at Lambeau before. I mean, there's so many accolades you can throw at Baker Mayfield for what he did. And yet, is he their quarterback of the future, Roy? I mean, is he tied to Todd Bowles' future? And to me, that's tied to winning the division if they keep their jobs.
Yeah, that's right. Look, I think if everybody keeps their jobs, I think he is their quarterback of the future. To me, there's no reason not to make him the quarterback of the future. Why go dip into that quarterback pool where you never know what you're going to pull out? You just don't. And you know what you have here. You've got lots of tape on him. He's still young. He's still energetic. He really gives the entire team a boost. Everybody plays hard for this guy. that's what you look for. You beg for a quarterback like that. So I think if everybody keeps their job, I think he is their quarterback of the future. And here's the biggest thing. He may not be tied to Todd Bowles, but he is tied to Jason Light. And I think as long as Jason Light is the GM, I think they try to keep Baker Mayfield. And again, a lot depends on Baker Mayfield. He's got to want to be here. I think he does. I think he realizes he's found a home here. This is a guy who's had a hard time finding a place. I think he's realized that this is a pretty good home for him, and especially with some of the talent that's coming up. Look, if they re-sign Mike Evans, I think it's a no-brainer that Baker Mayfield is back. But to me, that's one of the keys.
And listen, we all know my man crush on Mike Evans, and yet I would have traded him because I just feel if it's gotten to this point, I don't think he's going to resign. But Godwin has gone from being one of the 5 best number 2 wide receivers in the league. Lately, Baker has kind of looked over at him like, listen, if it's you and me next year, we can do this.
Yeah, and that's, to me, that's one of the real caveats, I think, for Baker Mayfield when he looks at this team. Is, okay, even if I don't have Mike Evans, I do have Chris Godwin. I've got a guy who I can absolutely depend on. And look, I think he's probably pretty enamored, and I know I would be, with some of the other talent that they have at the wide receiver position, Palmer and Moore. Look, these are pretty good players, and some of them have a lot of upside. And look, you know what? Turns out the tight end group isn't so bad either, even without Rob Gronkowski. So, again, I think there's plenty there. And look, we mentioned at the top, but I don't know about you guys, but it's easy to say Baker Mayfield's your MVP of this team. But how about Rachaad White? I mean, look, again, not the running numbers that you would hope for, but every once in a while he hits that 100-yard mark. And almost every Sunday he's approaching 100 yards of total yards. And really, that's what matters.
And he averaged 4 yards a carry, a little over 4 yards a carry in the game against the Packers. And Roy, I know you had to be smiling late in the game. They had a couple of runs where they needed to get a first down, and they were able to hand the ball off and do it. And that, to me, is the persistence of what you've been talking about all year, is that you've got to be dedicated to the run in order for the run to work late. And they were dedicated to the run in the game against Green Bay. As well as Baker played, they still were consistently running the football.
Yeah, you know, it's no surprise to me that they run the ball better in the late in the season than they did early on for a couple of reasons. First of all, I don't think Rachaad White he wasn't feeling it early on for whatever reason. And one of the big reasons might have been the offensive line. And I think one of the problems there was now they've got Aaron Stinney at left guard. And I think that's made a big difference. Cody Mauch has grown. I think he's developed a lot of confidence now. He's playing at a higher level. I just think the offensive line is playing a lot better now. And that's one of the reasons that they're running the ball a lot more effectively. I mean, you even saw Edmonds, break off a couple of 8, 12-yard runs last week. So I think overall the running game is getting better. It's getting more potent. It's really just a matter now of, making sure those guys stay healthy up front. And if that can happen, they should be fairly viable going into the playoff race.
If you were thinking about getting rid of Todd Bowles, besides the wins and losses, the way he's handled Devin White, that's a head coach. That's a leader of men. Okay, he didn't let Devin White, who, depending on which side you're going to take here, I mean, did Devin White quit on the team last week? And basically, yeah, I'm healthy enough to play, but I ain't going to do it if you ain't starting me. And Todd said, yeah, okay. I mean, but that's what leaders of men do. They make the hard decisions because they put the room first. All right. And boy, I mean, come on, Roy. We can read into things. You've been covering sports for 30 plus years. When a head coach says 30 times in a post game, that was a great team win. What do you think he's saying?
Well, I think what he's saying is they played 60 minutes of good football at every level, special teams, defense. And look, I'm a big Devin White guy. Well, maybe I was. Maybe I should use the word was, because as you just said, what we learned about last week is, to me, that's damning. I didn't like the stance he took in the offseason. I appreciated the fact that he came back and said, okay, it's time to play ball and let's get after it. But the attitude didn't come with him, it seems. I mean, he said all the right things, but it's like the attitude, and the drive didn't come with him. And now I'm just not sure he's committed to this football team. I'm not sure what his focus is, and that it's not the Devin White that we discovered when he first got drafted. I don't know what's happened to him. And I don't know that an intervention from Derek Brooks and Levante David and maybe Rondé Barber would help here, but something's got to happen. And if the bottom line is that they decide, you know what, we'll move on, and not because KJ Britt, is a good solid tackler and is playing better than him right now. My guess is they'll move on if they decide that somewhere in the draft, probably not first round, but second round, third round, they can find a similar type linebacker. I mean, look, those kind of linebackers are hard to find, those impact linebackers. But where they'll be picking somewhere second round, I think that's a possibility. And if you think you can target a guy like that, they just may move on from Devin White. And I wouldn't have a problem with it. I really wouldn't, because I don't think he's bringing it every Sunday the way he needs to.
Well, I don't think they'll do it because he's going to demand the money he's going to demand is not with after this year, Roy. I don't think they're going to be willing to spend it. If someone's going to buy into the tape from last year and say, I can make this player better, then maybe they pay him what he wants. But I think what he proved in the last week is that the Bucs aren't going to pay him the exorbitant sum that he thought he was going to get.
Yeah, he's proven it all year. He's proven all year that he's not worth what he was asking for. So, you know what? Good on the Bucs for holding their line here and just saying, look, we'll wait and see. And you know what? They did the same thing with Antoine Winfield. They did the same thing with Mike Evans. Those guys certainly have as much credibility as anybody. And the question is often thrown out there. Well, okay, if you can only keep one or two of these guys, who do you keep? Well, if it's Mike Evans, it's Mike Evans over Devin White, that's for sure. It's Antoine Winfield over Devin White, that's for sure. And to me, when you're a little bit cap strapped, as the Bucs will be, Devin White probably gets let go because he's replaceable. Look, the defense, they're giving up big yards, still big plays, and it's a problem, but it's not just because of Devin White. He could make it better, but right now they were giving up those yards when he was in there too, and I don't think he's an answer.
All right, they've won 3 in a row. They're in first place. They control things. They win their next 2 games at home. This division could be over before week 18, quite frankly. But Jacksonville comes to town. Jacksonville's a much better road team than home team. They're 3-5 at home. They have a terrific record of 5-1, I believe, on the road and neutral because they played a couple games in London. Trevor Lawrence is iffy. Your thoughts on the Bucs-Jags matchup?
Yeah, I like the way the Bucs have been playing. Again, I think they have found themselves here. Particularly on the offensive side of the ball. I think they're a lot more comfortable with everything that they're doing right now. Clearly a lot more effective. Doesn't mean they don't have a clunker left in them here. Doesn't mean that they can't go out there and lose 28-3 or 30-13. I think that's all possible. But at the end of the day, if Trevor Lawrence isn't 100%, first of all, if he's not on the field, well, then certainly the Bucs should win this game. And even if he is on the field, I think they've got it in them to somehow maybe outscore this team. We'll see. Being at home, 3-game winning streak, all the momentum is behind them. I mean, they got wind in their sails right now, guys. And I think this is one of those games where you kind of find out what kind of a team you have. When you've got this kind of thing going for you right now, how far can you ride that wave? Good teams find a way to ride it for an extended period. And the thing they have to look for, I'll leave you with this. The thing you have to look for is who's great in the NFC. Nobody. Dallas isn't great.
Well, Philly's
not great.
San Francisco.
Okay, fine. San Francisco. But if you can win your division, you just might be able to, you just might get one of those favorable matchups. And unless it's San Francisco, you got to feel pretty good about your chances.
Can you believe where we were 2-3 weeks ago with the Bucs? And now we're saying, they win the South.
Yeah.
The second place team in the NFC East is starting to look vulnerable. Maybe, just maybe, we could get a game. I mean, it's so funny how quickly it turns. Roy, our thoughts about you personally and professionally. Thank you for all you've contributed to the show. A Merry Christmas. Safe travels to your in-laws in Sarasota. And we'll talk again next week where, who knows, maybe the Bucs winning streak will be 4.
Guys, the feeling is more than mutual. Always been the most favorite segment I do every week for the longest time. You guys are the best. I'm happy to be a part of it and proud to be part of it and honored to be a part of it. Thanks, and Merry Christmas to you and all those that hang in there and listen to us.
Roy Cummings. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at rcummingsfhcn. Talking Bucs with Roy. We've only done it since the middle of the George W. Bush administration.
He took it easy on you guys.
You know, it's going to be interesting, too, because that tackles, the offensive line's still a little banged up. Can Tampa get a pass rush on an immobile Trevor Lawrence?
And that's if he's playing. My guess is he's will play. If he's cleared from the protocol, if he's cleared, he'll play. I mean, we saw that with the ankle. I mean, he couldn't walk, and 5 days later he was playing. I didn't realize this, and, maybe I should since I'm actually part of the broadcast, but 6 straight underdogs have won straight up on Monday Night Football.
Wow.
6 straight underdogs going back to the Denver-Buffalo when Buffalo had 12 men on the field and Denver got to re-kick. 6 straight underdogs. You think about it. Cincinnati won in Jacksonville. Tennessee won in Miami. The Giants won against Green Bay. Seattle was an underdog against 6 straight underdogs have won straight up on Monday Night Football. Who's the underdog Monday?
Baltimore.
5-point underdogs at that.
Just saying.
And feeling disrespected about the number. I've actually mentioned that they are confused as to how they're such an underdog in this game.
David, I don't think I've ever felt better about a pick now that you say that than Baltimore straight up on Monday.
Just funny because you could look at it the other way and say the favorites are due.
But Lamar against the NFC, his record's unbelievable.
16-1. Yep.
Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and
next.
Morning Show, making your
He's
trip
next.
from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone, on 5th Avenue in Naples.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
DC absolutely just poured kerosene all over me and then threw a match.
Yep.
For those not in the Twitch chat room, he says,
But they're only in the Twitch chat room.
that's right,
listening
because
now.
we're at break. But he goes, it's thinking like that leads to buying ramen. And you are exactly correct.
Edgar Thompson next.
Brett, when's the last time you and your wife came back to your old stomping grounds? Going to get to the arena about 90 minutes before tip. So apparently it's a very historic arena. I'm hoping to have a few minutes to just look around.
Well, make sure you look up at their one Final Four banner up there, 1980, I think it is.
Joe Barry Carroll. I think they got beat in the semis by Larry Brown's UCLA team. Game they were expected to win.
I just had to throw. I mean, I've got a couple of buddies that went to Purdue who I'm very good friends with, but it's just, I can't imagine.
It's you think about it. I mean, golly.
It's
Purdue
a
is
weird kind of torture for a fan base, because
well,
it's
but even for a conference, though, Trent,
yeah.
You're a Big Ten guy.
I love the Big Ten.
Well,
and
but help me out here. Indiana in 87. Since Indiana in 87, do they have won? In the last 35 years, does the Big Ten have won?
What, national champion?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, Michigan State in 2000.
That's what I mean. But I
Yeah.
mean, they take this sport seriously. They've played some really good basketball in the last 35 years.
I'm with you. I've been waving the flag for the Big Ten for a long time on this, but it's getting to the point where it's like not, David, it's not even that they're not winning national titles, it's that they're not even making runs anymore.
Oh, no, but they have. Hell, Ohio State had that run under Thad Matta. They went to a championship game.
Yeah.
God, Purdue's had a lot of terrific teams.
Michigan in 89.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's right. Ramil Robinson. Yes. Okay.
I thought they had one. I had to look. I thought Michigan had one. I just had to look.
That's right, because they won it the same year the Bad Boys did, and I'm sure that was a heck of a time to be a Michigan/Pistons fan. Much better than now, because the Pistons blow and the Michigan's going to miss the tournament.
Michigan's played for the national title 3 times since then. Ohio State played for it. Illinois played for it.
Sparty's gotten there.
Sparty's, won it once and played in the final game of 2 other times?
I believe so.
Wisconsin played for it. Minnesota got to the Final Four in the mid-90s. You talk about a guy who could cheat. Clem Askins could cheat. He was.
I gotta say, not that it's a surprise, but Trent gives good phone to the guests.
Huh.
Very happy. Hey, it's Trent from Miller and Moulton. You still got time for us? He gives good phone.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Third and final hour of Miller and Moulton along the network. The Diamond District bonus hour for the 239 is an hour away. Dr. Roto in 35 minutes. For those of you still alive in your fantasy football league, it's money time and the doctor makes his weekly house call in about 35 minutes. Edgar Thompson, kind enough to give us some time after a long day for him covering the Gators yesterday, as he does for the Orlando Sentinel. You can follow Edgar on Twitter/X at OS Gators. Edgar, it's David and Mark. Thanks for your time. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, fellas. Good to hear from you, David, after our buddy Martin forays.
Yes, so now we're going to do it for this show. So let's foray into the Gators, shall we? You don't have to, super specific. We got about 10, 12 minutes, but just quick overview. How did yesterday go?
It was underwhelming ultimately in the end. I like some pieces in this class, but when you enter the season number 3 in the recruiting rankings and you end signing day 16th in the rankings, you clearly lost a lot of traction on the trail, and it's obvious why. I mean, this is a team that lost 5 in a row to end the season, has questions every aspect of the program. You're getting rid of coaches. You're redoing your strength and conditioning staff now, we find out. So, yeah, a lot of headwinds, man, and a schedule that's beyond brutal next year. So, but there are a lot of quality players in this class still that stuck with the Gators. And Billy Napier kind of threw down, tossed a salvo out about people who were up for the challenge and ones who weren't, and pretty much made it clear, he's I don't want to say circling the wagons, but these are his guys. And look, I'm looking at it right here. They still got, in terms of top 250 guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 9 top 250 guys is pretty dang good, but they lost, 4 in the top 100. And I think 6 in the top 150 since November. And a lot of those guys are defensive players, which is an area where they struggled mightily.
How is he doing in the portal to make up for some of these losses? Because it is the one area that they've lacked getting. They hit with Mertz, and he was fine, but they've lacked having a lot of impact in the portal. It seems that what they maybe missed in the decommitments, they're going to have to make up for the portal. Can they?
This whole thing has become such a money game now. And maybe behind the scenes, everyone's like, oh, NIL's always been going on. Okay, maybe it was. But with every guy just negotiating deals, everyone is now. And openly. So that's where it's at. And I don't know where Florida is at in NIL. I think that's been a big issue from day one. They weren't necessarily prepared for NIL. A lot of schools weren't, in fairness. I think a lot of schools thought, oh, yeah, Emory Jones, will do an advertisement and Instagram from the apartment complex he lives and get a cut on his rent. Anthony Richardson will be the one guy who gets a car because he's a star. That Dodge Charger he drove would be a jalopy in the parking lot right now. Range Rovers, Teslas, Mustangs. Every kid's getting something now, along with big stipends. And some of the figures you hear thrown around are crazy. So where they're at in NIL, I don't think is great. I think they've reshuffled the whole operation and they're trying to get, beef up that, and that's how you get guys. Now, they've gotten a few guys. There's Joey Flackman from Penn, but he's an Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year. How's he going to transition to the SEC? I think they're pretty high on the guy. But he's just going to be a high motor guy. They got the offensive tackle from San Diego State. This is a team that barely has an offensive tackle. So he was critical. And because really true offensive tackles in this team, maybe Austin Barber, and I don't even know if he is. And that you can't really protect the passer in the SEC and run to the edges when you don't have offensive tackles. So they're addressing some things, but they got to beef up in the portal. They've lost 15 plus guys. And they got a cornerback from Oregon. I can't pronounce his first name, Bridges, veteran guy, has some lot of experience, so he can help. But yeah, they got a lot of work to do, man. A lot of work. And it's just a hard sell to get guys here when they can go to programs that are having more success with maybe not quite the schedule.
He's Edgar Thompson. He covers the Gators for the Orlando Sentinel. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at OS Gators. OS Gators. Edgar, why did the guys leave? Is it the losing? Is it the staff? Is it they can get money elsewhere? Because if I'm a Gator fan, when ATN left, that's the one in which I think both of us, Miller and Moulton, went, oh, snap. That ain't good. He's 900 plus yards the last 2 years, 14 touchdowns. Hell, he's their guy. Why is he least? Where's he going to go and be the guy more than he's the guy at Florida? I mean, why are these guys leaving in your estimation?
In his case, he's the brother of Travis Etienne, as everyone knows, who won a national championship at Clemson in 18. Had a decorated career, was a first-round draft pick, and is thriving in the NFL now. And that's the path I'm sure he wants to follow. And I think he's got a lot of similar talent. And he's a talented kid, man, explosive. As I said, they added a couple of nice running backs, I believe. Are they going to be a Trevor Etienne? I don't know. This kid from Mississippi, Kaneen Daniels, he rushed for 2,700 and 29 touchdowns last year and 253 in the title game that they won at the 5A level. Pretty explosive kid. And they do have Montrell Johnson, Trayon Webb, Cam Carroll's coming back, the Tulane transfer. They added this Jaden Baugh kid who flipped from Arkansas, did beat Alabama out for him. That room might not be up high on the list of concerns, but you do lose a playmaker, could score in any time he touched the ball, in my opinion. The guy got beat up. He's playing behind a bad line for a losing program. He sees what his brother did. Brother's in his ear. Brother's on Twitter during games about his kid brother not getting the ball enough and what's the offense. And I mean, they talk, obviously. I mean, the word is he's going to end up at Georgia. We'll see. Pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Who would you rather play for, Georgia or the Gators right now? I mean, I think that's it's a rhetorical question. So that is his case. But in terms of the other guys, I mean, who knows what the conversations were, if they wanted this guy's scholarship or that guy's scholarship. But like losing Caleb Douglas, I don't think was great. But they do have a lot of young receivers with promise. Princey Umamilian, I thought he was going to go pro, but it sounds like he was getting a 4th-round grade maybe, by all accounts. He's going to Ole Miss, David. Ole Miss plays in the Swamp November 23rd next year in senior night. I mean, that's where we're at in college football now. Chris McClellan, I thought he took a step back last year, but he was a top 100 recruit defensive lineman, interior. Don't think you really wanted to lose him. Miguel Mitchell started at safety. I'm lukewarm on him, but he had experience and has athletic ability. Will Norman, it was an IMG kid. I thought was a pretty big loss, potential inside interior lineman. I mean, not again a position you don't want to lose. So those are the ones that kind of stood out. But you lose guys now. I don't know that this is a unique problem to Florida, but Florida also has some unique circumstances that this program isn't always facing. Though, let's be honest, ever since Urban Meyer left, they're facing it pretty routinely, a lot of drama, upheaval, and change.
All right. I mean, this has not been glass half full, Edgar. And with the schedule that's ahead of this team, how does it get better? I mean, the picture you're painting is one that Gator fans don't want to hear, but it's a truth check. And how does it get better? Is it simply just improving the NIL? Is it simply just sticking with Napier? But it seems that there's not a quick solution here.
There isn't, and he was going to get a year 3 no matter what happened. I mean, reports of his demise before this season were a little premature. That if he goes whatever, he could have gone 0-12 probably and gotten a third year. I think that Ben Sass and Strickland and Billy are aligned at least for the third year. Beyond that, who knows? But the thing that's last half glass empty thing is, I mean, Billy was sold as a guy who was going to build the program and was an ace recruiter, right? And the class has nice pieces to it that need to develop, of course, and you never know. And it's all speculative with these kids. And really, he didn't hit a home run yesterday. Maybe it's a, stand-up double or maybe a sliding, triple Pete Rose style. But, I mean, I don't know. It wasn't, fantastic, but it wasn't bad. But, yeah, they have to improve the lines, man. We talked about this on Billy, didn't we? I mean, the offensive line is the biggest issue. They have to get that straight. The offense did show some life in the second half of the season after a horrible start to the year. I think it averaged 19 points the first 4 or 5 Power 5 games, and then it averaged in the 30s, almost mid-30s down the rest of them. So that was improvement. The defense is a huge issue, but you got to think it's going to improve. It can't be much worse, for one, but second year in a system, more buy-in. There was a lot of, button heads, obviously, on the staff. They're letting 2 veteran guys go 2 days after the season, which tells me that had been decided long before the FSU game. And everything's got to improve, and it needs to look better. I mean, the game day operation, just right, the on-field stuff. We could go on and on the areas that need to prove and things that fall in place. And there's still a lot that remains to be seen. Is he going to change the offensive staff? He's one box at a time yesterday. Well, that was a pretty key box people wanted you to check before now.
Edgar, we're up against it. Thank you so much for the time and insight on the Gators. He's Edgar Thompson, talking Gators for the Orlando Sentinel on Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
want to know where that Gator hater is now. We hate the Gators. Hell, I'll just get a beat writer on. He just destroyed them in 17 minutes or less. Wow.
I just sent him a note and said, thanks for your honest assessment. Fans and audiences need that.
Wow. Just eviscerated them.
I mean, and obviously he's much closer to the situation and knows it better than us. I mean, we're like a Goodyear blimp following the Florida program.
Right.
He's going guy to guy, position group to position group. But the final minute to 90 seconds, his voice, in which he's just like, they got to get better at the line of scrimmage. I mean, that is really, that's the part, Tebow and Harvin and the weapons and Urban got the Gators.
The Pouncies.
And on the defensive side of the ball, the Mosses and what have you, they kicked the crap out of you.
That's why I did bring up, when Georgia recruits 5 guys who are all 6'6" to 6'8" and 300+ pounds. Okay, maybe one of them's a load. Maybe 2 of them are loads. But they've got 5. I saw a tweet with that, and I just started laughing. That listed the size and weight of the guys.
I mean, he didn't say anything that we haven't said. He just has more credibility saying it. I believe Strickland and Napier 6 weeks ago needed to go public. When they were 5-3 and the 5-game stretch was coming up. I think they needed to go public. I think they needed to double down. I think Strickland needed to challenge the money people. During the midway through the losing streak, he needed to publicly and say, this is an interesting situation we're in. You guys are unhappy, so you're withholding your support. But by withholding your support, we ain't going to get any better. That's just the world we live in nowadays.
I just would love to hear what happened to their NIL. How did it blow up so badly when they looked early on as if they were the ones that had it together?
Right.
What happened?
And it turns out that it was a complete and utter mess.
Right. Oh, no, there's no doubt, Fly Panda. I'm with you. But they lost the quarterback. Okay, they've got another one in the wings. They went out and got secondary help and they got line help.
And, like he said, hey, nowadays everybody loses guys. Georgia's lost 15 4-stars or better off of last year's roster. Well, this year's roster, actually. I mean, seriously, 15 guys who were on the roster for the Florida game are not on the roster for the Florida State game. And some of those guys are dudes.
By the way, it is very hot in here. I just went to the bathroom, then I came back and I noticed
your side is warm.
And I didn't know, David, I didn't notice until Mark came in after that last segment and he was like, it is
It's a
hot.
sauna on that side.
Really?
I'm not
Meanwhile,
sweating. But...
has the air kicked in on your side?
It's just always cold over here. It's not bad.
No, but there are times when it's like it starts at 67, they can go to 54.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
Minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Dr. Roto makes his weekly fantasy house call in a little more than 15 minutes time. Now you can start submitting your questions if you want. Text line 21,000 in the Twitch chat room, and we will fire away at Dr. Roto. We know there are a lot fewer of you playing fantasy football right now because you got beat in the playoffs. But, for those of you who have a chance to win money, that's why we're doing it.
I don't care too much. I'm happy that I'm in the semis, but I'm more excited that I'm in a fantasy league with my son and a hockey fantasy league with my son. And last week I won in the playoffs and beat him head to head in hockey. So I can hold that over him for the entire Christmas break.
So let me get this straight. That's coming up over Christmas when you two are together.
Oh, it'd be the first thing I say to him when I see him at the airport tonight.
How's your fantasy football team?
Yeah.
Wow.
Merry Christmas. Love you. How's your fantasy team doing?
Man, that is nice.
Was
I
it a close one,
love
or did you-
snark like that.
Did you just give him the business?
Football, he was out, but hockey, it was a really close one. And he cares more about that because he thinks he's like you think you're an NBA expert. He thinks he's an NHL expert. So losing to his dad in fantasy hockey, of which I follow the league, but come on, I don't.
Right.
I don't know who half these guys are that are.
Yeah, Jacob thinks he's the assistant general manager of the Wings. He's willing to let Yzerman be the GM, but he's really the assistant GM, and he's bummed that he's not included in the morning meetings. Right. So, wow.
By the way, Mark, do you still have the text yesterday that we got early for Dr. Roto?
No, they'll need to send that again.
Wait. We got a Wednesday question?
Yeah, we got a Wednesday Matthew Stafford question. I do know who it was about.
Okay. Well, you've got the same question. You want to know, it's a Thursday night game. Stafford and the Rams hosting the Saints. Do you want to play guys on Thursday night, etc.? So, hey, can we just go back? And if you're just joining us, you missed Edgar Thompson of the Orlando Sentinel. He covers the Gators. So yesterday around this time, we were talking, saying, hey, this is a big day for the Gators. They got the 5-star quarterback that people are coming after. They got the 5-star defensive lineman that they got to hold on to those guys. And, the boat's leaking water here. And we got a few texts. One of them, you guys are Gator haters. We're like, oh, no. But we're realists here. This is tenuous. Well, has that gentleman, this is where I wish, that we could can we call, because when they text you, you get a phone number. Can we call this person and say, hey, were you just listening to Edgar? He covers the Gators for a living. If you thought we were Gator haters yesterday, what did you think of that blunt assessment from Edgar Thompson of the Orlando Sentinel a few moments ago?
Because if we painted the picture or the glass as half empty, he broke the glass.
I was going to say, we were just worried yesterday. He smashed it and stomped on it. Man.
I mean, if I'm a Gator fan and I just listened to that, I would be in a tough spot right now. Because he painted that as a very gruesome looking picture, particularly at the lines of scrimmage. And with the schedule that they have next year, being bad at the line of scrimmage does not seem like a good thing for the Florida Gators.
I'm telling you, I really think, first off, the boss, Scott Strickland, in a way, has put Napier in this situation. Napier's schedule has gotten harder every year. Well, first off, it's going to be harder this year than last because Oklahoma and Texas are now in the SEC, and it turns out the Gators are going to play one of them. So that's not ideal. But then also, 11 Power 5 teams on your schedule, year 3 of a program. Come on, dude, what are you doing? Seriously, what change? You could have bought out of these games. You could have called up Miami and UCF and said, listen, we got to push this back a couple of years. I hired a guy. I can't have this schedule for him in year 3. I can have this schedule for him in year 5. I can't. We're still going to play you. We're going to honor the 2-for-1s, the home and homes. But I got to push it back. If it costs me money, it costs me money. I can't do this to him. That's number one. Number two, Mark, I believe, you and I are into honesty, even if it's going to cost us. And it could cost Strickland his job. But here's why, if I was Strickland, I would be going public, and I would have done it weeks ago. If Napier fails, I'm losing my job anyway. So I got to be all in on Billy Napier. I need to challenge the fan base. And I needed to do it a month ago and say, listen, you guys are withholding your support because you're not sure about him or you don't like him. You do realize then you're damn near assuring our failure. Just so you know, we're in this together, and you guys, we're all in, and now you guys are not. It ain't going to work.
I'm curious, David. I would have loved to have heard this, but I have to think that Strickland was fearful of saying something like that would have cost him his job right then.
Okay, but I think, Mark, see, this is where I'm different. If I'm going to lose my job a year from now, unless we have success, and you're doing things that all but guarantee that I can't have that success, I'd rather confront you today and have you fire me before Christmas.
Most people wouldn't, though.
Right.
I mean, most people would not.
I
You're talking
understand.
about a seven-figure job here. These are not jobs that you just run out and get another one just like it. This is an elite athletic director job in the country. Probably one of the 10 best athletic director jobs in the country.
I agreed. But by the way, I do get the severance. I don't lose any money. I just get time off sooner. But in all seriousness, but Mark, it's why, quite frankly, listen, my career is not as good as it could have been. I mean, it's why we have the relationship with the people that we do in the building that you're sitting in, okay, is because you and I have confronted people instead of just sitting back and letting things be when we knew the way we were going was going to result in bad things happening.
Yeah, I felt like you were just giving us that was not really talking about the Florida Gators. It was talking more about Miller and Moulton. Every time you heard Strickland and David's soliloquy there, just replace that with Miller and Moulton. Particularly if you're listening to the podcast, re-listen to the last 3 minutes. Every time David says Florida or Strickland, replace it with Miller or Moulton.
But here's what I would have said to the Gator faithful. Listen, this isn't about Scott Strickland and Billy Napier. This is your football program. This is going to be your football. You could fire us today. This is your program. If you're not all in, it's not going to be the program that you want it to be ever again. The rules are different now. Your beloved Steve Spurrier couldn't win now if you guys are only going to half support him. Urban couldn't win now if you guys are only going to half support him. Times are different.
And I would love to figure out, and I said it to you during the break, where did the Gators go so wrong with their NIL? Because it looked as if when it started, they had their act together, and they didn't. And it's now killing them. It's why, Edgar just said it. It's why they're losing players in the portal. It's why they're not getting the quality of player back. Everyone's losing players in the portal. Everyone. Georgia, Alabama, every school is losing players in the portal.
Right.
But it's their NIL department that's enabling them to get the player back.
So that's what I would have done. And you're right. I'd probably be unemployed for Christmas. But, okay, so we're going to go slow death instead of quick death? I'd rather have quick death, seriously, as opposed to the next 11 plus months, which could lead to a nice, slow 4-8 season. No, we're all in. We're all in. And I would look right at him and say, by the way, all in means 2 more years. And on Thanksgiving 2025, you guys can do whatever you want to us. But 2 years, either fire me today or 2 more years. You decide.
Strickland set up Napier for the 2 years with this schedule this year.
Oh.
We've talked about it repeatedly.
Unbelievable. Don't know if I've seen a harder one.
Preseason, the Gators are going to be favored in no more than what?
4
games?
Tops, and it could be 3.
Get your questions in. It's time for the house call. Dr. Roto is next on Miller and Moulton.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn, Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Life Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlifetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Bob Clark in the Twitch chat room. I need a different question. We never give Dr. Roto more than 3 choices. 2 out of 3 is the most we go. You can't do 4 out of 5. Sorry.
But Merry Christmas to you.
But so if you could come up with a different question or narrow that list down.
Because he did start his question with Merry Christmas. So
Yes.
I'm just saying it
And
back.
thank you, Bob. Merry Christmas to you and yours. So help me help you.
I'm laughing so hard. So I answered Seth's text yesterday. And so we're talking. I'm walking the dog around the neighborhood, and I got a couple of Merry Christmases. I'm right here at Boca del Vista, Seth, behind the gates. Everybody's saying Merry Christmas. He and I laughed, but he was asking about signing day. It was pretty funny. He had to do South Carolina hits. And he was like, can I pre-record? I said, Seth, in all seriousness, you need to wait as long as you can wait. I said, here's the site I would go on. And he said, what about this newspaper? They said I said, stick with the newspaper and their live blog and go 24/7 with whoever the recruiting guys are for those 2 schools and wait as long as you can because it's changing by the minute.
Yep.
I'm going to download his Hall of Justice podcast, though. He was telling me about the guy that did the Festivus article. I was reasonably interested. But the guy did the article on Festivus for the New York Times. It was the most clicked on article of the year. And so the guy's author, or the guy's agent came and says, you got to write a book like based off of that, and interviewed Seinfeld, interviewed Larry David. So
I think for tomorrow, you guys should do a Festivus themed episode.
Is tomorrow Festivus?
No, but it's just maybe what I'll do is that'll be the theme for Monday's show, the best ofs. All your grievances.
Well, my theme was what do you want to return from your sports team?
What do I want to return?
What would you like to return? Because it's return day. It's the day after Christmas. You return your gifts.
Monty Williams.
See, that was my idea for a theme.
That's a great idea. But in all seriousness, no, not Monty Williams. Troy Weaver, GM. I'm calling Dr. Roto early. Not letting.
Oh, sure you are.
Not too early. I don't want to waste his time. A minute.
Everybody's keeping receipts now.
Do you mean literally or figuratively?
Figuratively. John Morant's keeping receipts.
Oh, you mean to say that?
RCB, I'm with you, by the way. I'm loving the Bulls tonight over the Orange. Loving it. I'm feeling it.
Be watching it on the plane. I hope. Maybe.
Both the Big Ten and SEC are getting rid of divisions next year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think there's a conference with divisions next year, which is absurd. Complete unbalanced scheduling. I mean, it's a joke. Well, it does next year, TJ and Ellis. It does next year because they did not get a good draw. Like Ole Miss's schedule is great. No Georgia, no Alabama. They play at LSU. That's the only game they might not be favored in next year.
EB, I don't think so because she would have said something to me. I know she doesn't listen to this show. That's
You talking about your wife?
Yeah. I can hear Trent. We got about a minute, but I called you early because I got a question for you.
Yeah. I know nobody asks you, questions about their own team, but can I ask you a couple questions about my team?
Hey, I almost texted Doc on Sunday. And I wasn't sure which defense. I had Cleveland's defense, and I wasn't sure if I wanted Chicago's defense. And Chicago's defense scored. I thought it cost me a game. I was very nervous.
I got 7 questions. So
it used to be a segment.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. This is our final segment along the network. We will not be doing a show on Christmas Day. Mark and Trent will be doing a show. I may call in from the Atlanta airport on the day after Christmas, on Tuesday, in which Mark will still be in Pittsburgh.
There will be a best of, though, on Christmas Day. For those of you listening, you will hear our voices. Just some pre-recorded segments, mostly from this week.
Dr. Roto, he's part of our best of as far as we're concerned. He makes his weekly house call, fantasy football. Hopefully you're still alive. Follow Doc on Twix, Twitter/X at Dr. Roto, DRROTO. Add a .com to that, and that's his website. He's got a great staff. They give phenomenal advice on not just football. I mean, that's if you're interested in winning leagues and making money and that sort of deal. And why don't you listen to him Saturday mornings on SiriusXM's Fantasy Sports Radio? He's Dr. Roto. Doc, an early merry and happy to you and yours. How are you?
Same to you. I just can't wait to listen to the best of on Christmas morning. That's going to be an event.
While you're opening gifts under the tree, Doc.
Yes. I mean, what else would I want to listen to?
That's the kind of snark we love. All right, very quickly before we get into specific questions. Do you, this late in the season, the playoffs, is there any change in strategy at all now that you're in the semifinals?
Just win, baby. I don't care how you do it. I think I learned something many years ago. I had a stud player and who had a terrible matchup. And I had this guy, can't remember who it was anymore, but it was a guy who, he was an all right player with a great matchup. And I was like, you always have to play your studs. And I lost. So I don't feel that way anymore. I literally picked up Nick Mullins in a league. I'm in a charity league with a bunch of people, a bunch of experts in the industry. And I just, you know what? I picked up Nick Mullins. He's going to be my quarterback this week. I don't care. I love the matchup against the Lions. So you do what you need to do. And I say this in the best way possible. The best team does not always win a fantasy football league. It's the team that stays injury free. It's a team that has the best matchups. And it's a team that makes the best lineup decisions that wins a league. So if that means that you have to bench a player that you don't think, that you've been starting all year, you do what you need to do if the matchups aren't there.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask you a little personal advice here because I've got Matthew Stafford. I've been getting the smoke and mirrors at quarterback all year long after Kirk Cousins was hurt. I've got Matthew Stafford. I've got Geno Smith. I could pick up a Minshew or a Mullins. What do you do at quarterback? Do you trust Stafford Thursday night?
Well, I'm not picking up Minshew against Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta's been a pretty darn good defense this year, even though it's hard to watch them play because the way they run their offense. But their defense hasn't been bad. That's not the reason they're losing. Do I like Nick Mullins? I do. I think he's in a really good spot. Is it a better spot than Stafford? I don't know about that. The Rams are at home. They have a 25-point implied total. That's a pretty big total. The Vikings implied total is 22. The Lions are actually favorites in that game. I think I'm rolling with Stafford. He's done a pretty good job. I think the Rams are the team that nobody wants to see in the playoffs. McVay is a really innovative coach. Stafford's won a Super Bowl. This team knows how to win important games. I think they beat the Saints handily tonight. So I think I probably roll with him. He hasn't shown me a reason not to.
Bunch of quarterback questions. Twig wants to know Lamar or Stafford.
Yeah, I'm worried about Lamar this week. I won't lie to you. I think you're playing the 49ers. The 49ers defense looks terrific. The 49ers are going for the top seed. So I have Lamar, and in the league, I'm benching him. I just don't feel – this is not the week that Lamar puts up 300 passing yards and runs for a bunch. So, and it's hard to trust Lamar in the first place. Right, Lamar is one of those guys who throws up 180 and one touchdown, and then you're hoping to get, the 40 yards rushing and a touchdown. We haven't seen those rushing touchdowns, and now with Keaton Mitchell out, you're going to get all the Gus Edwards by the goal line that you can stomach, and I can't stomach too much of that. So I'd be very careful with Lamar this week.
Another Stafford question: Fields or Stafford, Doc?
Justin Fields. I mean, this is the Justin Fields nuclear bomb week. If you're in DFS, he's one of my 3 favorite starts. I mean, Arizona, as we all know, can't stop anybody. Fields plays better at home. If my ship is going down, my ship is called the SS Fields.
Tim wants to know Trevor Lawrence or Jordan Love.
I don't think we know the answer to that question right now. I mean, we're going to see what Trevor Lawrence is going to play. If he plays, I'm going to play him. I mean, Tampa, we know that pass defense has been bad as well. So I think that's a really good spot. I think that's the sneaky DFS spot as well this week. I mean, we've seen what Tampa can do. It's not great on defense. So I'm very interested. Jordan Love, I think I mentioned this last week. The Panthers don't run that many plays. They play slowly. So when you're not getting that many plays in a game, you're not getting that many opportunities. And this game has all the makings of 21-18, something ridiculously low like that.
Flex spot here: Devin Singletary, Taysom Hill, or Javonte Williams. Who are you starting?
I think I'm starting Devin Singletary. I think the Browns, that vaunted Browns defense hasn't been so vaunted recently. They've had a lot of exciting games. And look, the Texans are playing really good football. I mean, Case Keenum came in there and they were losing that game, and then they come back and win. So I think the Texans are firmly in play. I do. And, Devin Singletary was fantastic. Dameon Pierce, I really like Dameon Pierce, but I think he may need a new address soon because it feels like the Texans have bought into Singletary and they haven't bought into Pierce.
Great alumnus has a full PPR question. Pick one between Singletary, Swift, and Saquon.
Who was the last one?
Saquon.
Look, the Giants, that's a tough one because the Eagles' run defense is really good. And the Giants, is Saquon going to get a lot of running yards in that one? I'm not so sure about that. I don't know whether this is a Saquon boom game. We already talked about Singletary. Who was the third guy, David?
Swift.
I like Swift. I think Swift's in a good spot. I mean, he's probably my favorite play of the 3. I think the Eagles are going to, unload the can of whoop-ass and just bring it. I mean, they got embarrassed on Monday. I think they're going to embarrass the Giants. Now, I do think this is the Giants' Super Bowl, right? I look at a game like this and say, this is the Giants' Super Bowl. But they caught the Eagles on a bad week. I think the Eagles are going to come back and really play well.
Pacheco, Kenneth Walker, or Bijan Robinson? Who do you play?
Well, do we know that Pacheco's playing? Are we sure about that? I don't know if we are. Kenneth Walker has a tough matchup, but I like him. I think Bijan is he's the most frustrating player in fantasy football.
Yes, he is.
Fault. It's his coach's fault, right? It is not his fault. When they bring in Cordell Patterson on the 3-yard line, all you want to do is throw something at your TV. Okay? Now, he should be in a great spot against Colts. This should be like the Bijan Robinson play me spot and win some money in my fantasy leagues. But I can't guarantee that. So I won't tell you not to do it. I'll just tell you, if you do it, you know, it could be a 0 or it could be a 20. That's the risk you take.
I got 3 more quarterback questions. SEC me, okay, wants to know Stafford or Baker.
Oh, man, I love Baker this week. I do. I really like Baker. Jacksonville's run defense has been very steady all season long. Their pass defense has been bad. When I say bad, I mean bad. So, I mean, this feels like a Baker week to me. It does. And he's played really good football. I think this is the Baker Mayfield that we all expected years ago to see. And he's finally doing that. And yeah, he's an NFL quarterback for sure. And I think Tampa really looked into something here. Now, are they going to sign him long term? I don't know. Is he a Pro Bowl talent? I don't know. But I think this is a guy who can win you a division. I don't know if he wins you a Super Bowl, but he can certainly win you a division.
All right, 2 more quarterback questions. I'll fire them at you. JB Viking, a PPR, pick one between Mullins, Tua, or Purdy.
I mean, look, these are really good questions. I'm not playing Mullins over Tua and Purdy, that's for sure. The Cowboys, so they're like the Jekyll and Hyde. When they have the bad game, the good game comes. I think the good game could be coming this week. I know the Ravens' defense is good, but they're not nearly as good at home. And you cannot tell me that Kyle Shanahan is not the best play caller in the NFL. He clearly is. And Purdy is one confident player right now. And, you know, look, I have Purdy and Lamar in a league, and I have pressed Purdy's button pretty much 90% of the time. 90% of the time, and I think I'm going to press it this week as well.
I've got 2 Rashee Rice questions. One's Rashee Rice or D-Hop. The other one's Rashee Rice or Austin Eckler.
Rice and Rice. Rice is nice. I mean, D-Hop, look, don't like Seattle's pass defense. Not a D-Hop matchup. Can I just say something about Will Levis? Why are you going for a home run on every throw? Let's get some singles and doubles. A walk is as good as a hit. Remember that when we were kids? How come this dude is throwing the bomb every play? Stop the madness and just throw it for a first down once in a while, dude. So I can't tell you D-Hop. And the thing about Eckler, he must be hurt. I don't know what's going on there. I think that team is a train wreck. I think Buffalo wins this game by, 10, 12, 14, something like that. I can't trust Eckler right now.
And they're favored by 12, I believe. Rashee Rice is in one of my questions. Mello wants to know 2 out of 3, Rice, Ayuk, or Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, once again, so look, I think we've talked about Rice enough on this program all season long. You knew I was high on him. The guy was a great player at SMU, and it just took time, right? But when you knew he was playing week 1 and he caught a touchdown, that should tell you everything. And then he kind of disappeared, only had like 30% of the snaps. But all the other receivers there are not very good. He is clearly their best guy. And I think next year when we're drafting, if somebody's taking him in the 3rd or 4th round, I'm blessing that. I am. Ayuk has a tough matchup, but I will play him. Jacobs, I worry. I think the Chiefs are going to win that game at home. The Chiefs have not played well, but they are pretty tough against the run, so I'd be very careful there.
Nakua, Kenneth Walker, or Jonathan Taylor? Who are you playing?
I'm playing Jonathan Taylor if I believe he gets 20 carries. I mean, I know the Falcons are a tough defense, but Jonathan Taylor is the best player that you gave me. I like Puka Nakua. I do. And the Saints will play a coverage that Puka likes, but Cooper Kupp's the number 1 target. I mean, Puka was outstanding when Kupp was out, but since they've been back, it's really been more Cooper and less Puka.
And now I'm confused.
Say that 3 times fast.
No,
Not in the air.
No. Half point PPR, 2 out of 3. Ryan wants to know Devontae, Gibbs, or ATN.
I'm going to play Gibbs. I think this feels like a Gibbs week to me. It's hard to run on the Vikings. Vikings have a pretty good run defense. I think this game can explode a little bit more than people may be thinking. I think it's a 47 spot. This may end up being a 57 spot. The Vikings like to blitz. I can see a couple of real short passes to Jahmyr Gibbs, who does a lot with them. He has proven to be a 3rd-round pick. People were doubting it earlier in the year, but once David Montgomery got injured, Gibbs found his stride, and he's been really good. I think you ride him at this point.
All right, you got any DFS sleepers for us this week, Doc?
I do like Mullins. I do like Baker. And my cheap play of the week is Jamison Williams. I think that when they're blitzing if Goff just chucks it down the field, Jameson should see some one-on-one coverage, and he should be able to beat it.
All right, rapid fire here. Full point PPR. Bob wants to know 2 out of 3. Pittman, Cup, Olave.
Cup for sure. It's hard to trust Pittman right now after last week. I think that's a tough one. Olave's ready to play. The Rams blow a lot of pass coverage. I don't trust Carr, but I do trust Olave, if that makes any sense. I think I probably, I hate playing the Thursday night game, but you are talking about arguably 2 of the 3 best players in the Thursday night game.
Nick streams his quarterback. Does he stay with Jake Browning, or should he hit the waiver wire?
The only thing that concerns me in this game is the implied total by Vegas. Vegas only has this game at a 19.5 for the Bengals, which worries me because the Steelers secondary, nobody's out there. All these guys are either hurt or suspended, and the Steelers can't stop the run. That's the biggest problem. If you saw last week, Gardner Minshew had 185 passing yards at halftime. He finished the game with 215 because they handed the ball off about 47 times in the second half, and the Steelers couldn't stop any of it. So if that doesn't worry you about Browning, it worries me. That's the only reason I don't love Browning this week. I like him. I think if you're asking me Browning or Mullins, I'll take Mullins, but it's a close call.
Curtis Samuel, Zeke, Jaden Reed. Who to start PPR flex?
I think I'm starting Zeke. He should get the bulk of those touches. Curtis Samuel against the Jets, no thanks. So, look, Zeke is proven to be, serviceable. I don't know how many years he has left. I don't know where he's going to end up next season. But, when Stevenson went out, Zeke was fine.
All right. Literally a minute. I got 3 quick questions. PPR flex, Kenneth Walker or Olave?
Ooh, tough call. Give me Walker.
DC wants to know Ty Chandler or David Montgomery?
Wow, they were going to make Ty Chandler their number 1 back. I like it. I think he's a really good pass catcher. You're going to see his pass catching chops this weekend. I like him.
And Dolphin wants to know PPR, Olave or Breece Hall?
Oh, man, I think I'm going to go Breece Hall. He's probably the only Jet I would start this week. And I don't think I'm starting him with confidence, but I think he is startable.
Doc, thanks for this all year long. Merry Christmas to you and yours. We really appreciate everything you bring to the show. Have a great Christmas. We'll talk soon.
You got it, guys. Merry Christmas to you both and to everybody out there, and we'll see you next week for the championship.
He's Dr. Roto. We are Miller and Moulton, and this is the Florida Sports Network.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
What are you talking about, Ryan? We asked your question. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I can't hear Mark. So gotcha.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, my mic is off because I was talking to Shane.
Okay.
Michael, my answer to that question is a yes. And the first time I did it, I was either 6 or 7 years old.
So someone else's genius idea.
My grandfather was at a Michigan State game, and we were walking in. My grandfather took his pint of Jim Beam, grabbed my coat, put it in my coat. We walked in. We got in the stadium. He grabbed my coat, took it out, put it back in his. He's like, there's no way they're going to search a kid.
That is so great. Back when you could actually get away with that.
Right.
I was a respected member of the community, too.
Football coach.
Sports writer.
Business owner. No, other grandpa.
So 1 year, 2 years ago, I think, my brother and I, because we both obviously have season tickets to Lions, he got us
What? You
plastic
got season tickets to the Lions?
They went up a lot, by the way, in price. But plastic flasks, and you can, they don't pick them up on anything. You can just stuff it in the waistband.
What I I learned from my first wife at Georgia games, what they would do is they would put it in Ziploc bags way before the plastic flask.
Just put liquid.
Put the booze in a Ziploc bag. You walk in because you weren't selling booze in the games then. So you just grab a Coke, take a sip of Coke, and you got your whatever.
Yeah, smart.
Adam, I'm with you. By the way, I would take the Rams and lay the 4 tonight.
Are you guys going to officially preview that in this hour at all?
Yeah, why not?
Sure. I mean, I think the audience is clamoring for when the hell are they going to get to the Saints and the Rams?
Again, sometimes I say things and I instantly know that David's just
doesn't mean I'm right, but
Oh, and I'm on the Twitch stream, right? So like I see your reaction and it's always delayed.
Right.
I thought Edgar was on that same strand when he asked a question. It was like,
yeah, I thought
2001, 2002, and then
but once he got going,
he was waiting to hit the hole. He was patient.
Listen, you know what? His interview answering style is a lot like Le'Veon Bell.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And just like that, it is time for the Diamond District bonus hour on this Thursday, second to last show before Christmas. We will be doing a show tomorrow. Both Miller and Moulton will not be in their respective homes. I'm in West Lafayette, Indiana, calling a college basketball game tonight. Number one team in the country, Purdue in action. Mark's going to be in Pittsburgh tomorrow. You know what's funny? Normally we do the show. I'm in Jacksonville. You're in Fort Myers / Estero. We're roughly 350 miles apart. So tomorrow I'll be in West Lafayette, Indiana, and you'll be in Pittsburgh. We might be closer.
Let's hang out. Why don't we do lunch? It'll be a leisurely drive, David. What do
I'll
you say?
meet
We meet in Cincinnati?
I'll meet you about 2:00. What do you say? Bada bing, bada boom? No? So, I didn't bring this up all show because, we could do early signing and we could go over that, and we will if you missed it. We got Thursday Night Football, Rams and the Saints and what have you. Trent, have you gotten your Lions season ticket renewal yet?
Have I what?
Gotten your Lions season ticket renewal.
Oh, yes.
I read a report that said that your ticket prices went up 30% for next
mine
year.
went up more than that. Mine personally did. Yes. I had to make a phone call to the family to kind of figure this out because it's now going to be the family's season tickets, not just mine because I can't afford them, but we don't want to lose them because there's a wait list now.
It's a bad move by the Lions.
It's terrible.
Man, it really is. You win one flipping division, assuming they can, get the horse into the barn here. You win one flipping division title in 30 years. You've yet to even win a home playoff game. I mean, come on. Seriously, no offense. Who do you think's held up their end of the bargain better over the last 30 years? You or your fan base? This is a BS move. Come on.
And I don't want it to happen for you, Trent, but I'm telling you, there are sports fans across the country right now going, lose the last three. Lose out. Lose the damn division. You don't deserve to win the division after doing that.
That's the column I would write, quite frankly, if I wrote in that area. I'd be like, I hope you lose out. I hope you miss the playoffs. No.
Really
this
bad.
is, and sorry, Dan Campbell. Sorry, Goff. I love you guys. You're a great, fun team. Love what you've done, the whole deal. Oh, no, I'd be killing the Ford family right now. Killing them. That's disgusting. Honestly, you finally hold up your end of the deal. How many times have you held up your end of the deal in the last 30 years?
Once.
10? Seriously, if you had 10 winning seasons in the last 30 years,
Ooh.
you had a few there in the 90s.
Yeah, I know.
No, but you won the division in 93. Since winning the division, have they had 10 winning seasons?
No.
I don't
By
believe
the way,
so.
how many times have they won double-digit games too? Because they've had a lot of 9 and 7s in there.
In my lifetime, twice. I'm serious. This is one of the years. 2014, they won 11-5.
I mean,
That's 24. I mean, he's 24.
Yeah,
Twice.
Come on now. Serious 30%. God, that's BS.
And like Clint said, his ticket and his are not as good of seats. They're the upper level seats where you're really grinding the people who are your diehard fans.
Mine went up 59%.
God,
59%.
Yep.
Honestly, every day, if we were doing sports talk there, I'd make it my mission. I'd want the Lions to be calling our employer demanding us being fired. That's how much this is gross.
You know what really sucks about it too? The backhanded part of it is this is the first thing that I'm frustrated with Sheila about. She took over for Martha, her mother, 2 years ago. Okay. She's been killing it ever since. She fired Patricia and Quinn midseason. She hired Dan Campbell. She brought in Brad Holmes. She made the decision to move on from Matthew Stafford. All that stuff was going right. You're finally on the verge of winning a division, and then this happens. It's the first thing, honestly, I just when you think things have changed, But the more things change, the more they stay the same. Someone's calling David's room.
That's fantastic. I should leave his mic on to see how he handles this, but I'm going to be polite and mute his microphone for him so we don't get that coming over the air. But yes, finally he's got the first ever noise call, unless Jacksonville had a pregame meeting. They did. Noise call, David, or did JU have breakfast that they wanted you to attend?
Some recorded announcement they were going to let me know of. Okay, it probably has to do. I don't know. I got the sign outside the door. Just leave me alone. So I'll be curious if the phone rings again in 30 seconds. So apparently at 9:05 in the morning at the Embassy Suites in West Lafayette, Indiana, you get a phone call. Oh, okay.
Probably telling you breakfast is ready, David. You've missed out.
Well, the team meal is in a half an hour. That just bothered me, and I'm not the season ticket holder. I hate that. Come on, no offense, you're making money. No, you are. You're making money.
What are those TV contracts worth?
Oh, for good, please. You make money before you sell one ticket. One ticket. Those TV contracts cover every expense your organization has. Honestly. And come on, your family is filthy flipping rich. You don't need to do this. That's...
No, and if you wanted to raise, literally, you wanted to raise prices 20% across the board, 10, 15%. But the other side of this, David, and I don't know if you get Front Office Sports, the daily emails from that, because you and I subscribe to a lot of things. People in the sports world, David, are incredibly nervous about 2024 ticket sales nationally. That 2023 was a great year for tickets. People are worried about the economy. People who sit in front offices of sports teams are worried about selling tickets, and Detroit goes and raises prices in that.
I got to be honest. I would even think, I know I've said crazy things before, and you've sold tickets for a living, and every time I bring something like this up, you literally, you either mock me or you pat me on the head. Like, that's cute, you're fired. But if I took over a team that hadn't done anything in a really long time, one of the things I would think of doing is the owner of the Lions there 2 years ago. There's a part of me that would be like, listen, we haven't won a home playoff game since 1991. We haven't hosted one since 1993. I'll tell you what, I'm going to roll back prices to now throw in the cost of living, whatever it is. If you take, whatever price of gas was then and you do cost of living it forward. But there's a part of me that thought, like the guy who bought the Mets, and he's worth $20 billion. The Mets haven't won a World Series since '86. Hell, they haven't even been to one since 2015. So roll back prices to, pick a year. And just say, you know what, until we win, this is what I'm going to charge. The onus is on us. You guys have held up your end of the deal. We haven't held up ours. And until we do, these are our prices.
I love it when you do this. I do.
I know.
Because it's so sincere. And I mean that in the nicest of ways. It's actually what you do.
I would. If I owned the Lions, I literally 2 years ago would have said, we haven't won a division in 30 years. We haven't won a playoff game in 32. I would have picked one of those 2 years and said, tell you what, we're going to roll back prices to that point in time. And until we accomplish something, the onus is on us. You guys have been great. We have let you down.
All I can do right now, the only time this has ever worked, David, was in the movie Mr. Mom when they rolled back the prices of the tuna. And maybe that's where your love of tuna, Matt, came from. I don't know.
It was
220, 221, whatever it takes. But that's all I've got in my head is that a movie from the 80s, for crying out loud. I've got this guy peddling tuna, lowering prices, waving an American flag, and I can just see Moulton up there right now. We haven't won a playoff game since 1992, and I, as the owner of the Lions, I'm going to roll back prices for you, the fan, because what it's all about is it's not about me, the owner, making money. It's about you, the fan.
The TV contract covers every expense I could ever imagine. It even covers all the people I've had to fire and pay off. Honestly, every ticket I sell is pure blankety blank profit.
David, they're getting standing room only at home games now. I mean, it's like I couldn't be more with you on this.
Listen.
Oh, I think it's absurd that Detroit's doing this. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, but, yeah.
But
well, okay.
The only team that, and I will say, the only team that's ever rolled back prices, it worked unbelievably well. The Falcons have the lowest concession prices in the league. They have the most concession sales in the league.
And like,
and that's with the Chick-fil-A being closed on just about every game because they play on Sundays.
To be fair, yes, it's business, right? The prices should go up after they win the division. And granted, they haven't even done that yet. So hopefully they win one of these last 3 games. But 59%
for Upper Deck.
I know. I'm in the 300 level. My nose is bleeding. I can see the holes open up, David. I see them open up before Jahmyr Gibbs hits the hole.
Were you planning on trying to upgrade your seats?
No.
You weren't?
No, we actually really like where we sit. We sit in the end zone, up. You can see everything just fine. We're young enough to where we can still get away with that. And 20 years probably won't be the most enjoyable experience up there. But to your point, though, Mark, that's where the diehards are.
Exactly.
And it's so fun. Every single game it's always worth the price of admission. That's what I'll close with.
Is it still now? Because the price of admission just went way up.
It still will be. But boy, oh boy, what a gouge.
I mean, we can realistically, Trent is a season ticket holder. He is now part of a family who owns season tickets. They raised the prices so much that he and his brother can't own the tickets on their own. That's what they just did. And they did it to everybody that's a fan there.
And they had the cheapest season tickets in the building. Does this mean we're going to have to pay him like $9 a show instead of $7?
And by the way, David, we've had him since 2018. So, it sucks for the people. I don't want to do the what was me thing, but we're the ones that have been there throughout all this BS. Sam Darnold throwing a pick 6 on Monday Night Football against the Jets. That was the first game of the season tickets.
He's bitter.
Yeah, well.
If we let him go, he'd take us through every one of those games between now and then.
So we do have to stop this.
We'll just see our numbers drop.
He just went Sam Darnold's first game as a pro. We have to stop this. Change subjects. He wants us to do an in-depth Saints-Rams preview. I think that would be better than going through the last 6 years of the Lions game by game, even if you can see the holes open up from there.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Have a Molly Christmas, a Molly-made Christmas. Give your family a gift of a clean house. When you're looking for professional house cleaning services, you want to make sure that you find a team that can accommodate your budget, schedule, and cleaning preferences. Molly Made is proud to provide thousands of families across the country with industry-leading services tailored to their specific needs. Call Molly Made today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymade.com/FTMYERS.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
David, we're going to continue this conversation because I just got a text from someone that says my season tickets were the same since 2018. My Dolphin season tickets went up 45%.
Wow.
Screw them all. Screw them all. So we're rooting against the Dolphins now, too. Okay. By the way, they can miss the playoffs.
Oh, boy.
It'd be almost a perfect storm, but they have not clinched the playoff spot.
Well, who has? Just San Francisco?
Baltimore has. Dallas has. Philly has. But yes.
Adam in the Twitch chat room. I'm curious. I'm not saying you're wrong, but how much did they raise in 2017 for the Jaguars after they made the AFC Championship game? I'd be curious to see that because 2 years before that, or the year before that, they won what, 2-3 games? So it's on a much smaller scale, but I feel like that's a similar comparison. I feel like I don't know.
Here's the other reason why. Honestly, I wouldn't do it. I would literally come out and say, we had a really good year, and thanks for sticking with us. Prices are going to remain the same. We start doing this consistently. We might raise them, but thank you for sticking with us. Prices remain the same.
Or you should be able to be grandfathered into your price.
This is appalling.
Should be like tax brackets. If you've had
Honestly,
them,
I hope everybody stays home. Honestly, screw them. Spend the money on making a man cave, great living room, multiple TVs. Screw that.
I did with the family Christmas party, did put a lot of wives in jeopardy because now kids are looking at their dad going, can't we just go over to Mark's? Why didn't we just get 2 TVs like Mark has?
That's great. Thanks a lot, Mark.
And now I go to my house, there's 2 TVs in the wall. It doesn't even look unusual to me. It looks the way it's supposed to.
We have not discussed on the air the email that you got a week ago about us. Remember?
Oh, God.
The wife was trying to get the husband to do something. Did you share that with Trent?
He shared that on the air. It was one of those 4th hours that you weren't here.
Yeah,
gotcha.
He did go over that. That
That's
was
right.
hilarious.
Gotcha. That is hilarious. Well, if Miller and Moulton told you to do it, would you? Yeah. Golly. That's the wrong answer, dude. I love the answer, but that's the wrong answer. Do not bring us into this. They already hate the sound of our voice when they get in the car. No, Trent, ask Mark. We can tell the minute we meet a listener and his girlfriend or wife, the look when he goes, hey, these are the guys I listen to. This is Miller and Moulton. And instantly, the look we get, we know exactly where she stands on, this is the effing voices I hear when I get in the car.
I had one of the members walk up to me yesterday, I'm hitting balls, and he goes, heard your little segment about the state bird. You're lucky none of these women listen when you said the cackling snowbird. I said, do you think I care if they do?
I know the looks I get from them. Yep.
You care?
Trent, it is priceless. We have gotten this look for over 15 years. We know it immediately. I almost always look at the women and go, listen, you got to get him out of the house more. Okay? He's spending too much time in his car.
I am thrilled to have my name attached, to say the least.
God, the looks are so flippin' funny. You know instantly.
Here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Did we just strike a nerve? Miller and Moulton, the Diamond District bonus hour. Thanks to Todd and Jason. By the way, if it's this late in the game and you haven't held up your end of the deal, I'd go visit Todd and Jason. You need help, and they can provide it.
I had to laugh when I was there yesterday and saw both of them. But I said to Todd, I go, do you hate Christmas by now? I mean, you've been doing this. Because he was in the jewelry business before he opened. So 20 years there, 20 years previously in the jewelry business. I'm like, do you hate Christmas? And he's like, no. He's like, don't. He goes, it's stressful. It's crazy. But he just goes back to and he's not lying. The relationship with clients and people are, they're in a good mood. You're generally not in a bad mood when you're spending money. Even me yesterday, I was in a good mood.
Right. Even though you were
winning,
snookered into doing it.
I was winning Christmas.
Wow. Talk about two people looking at the same stat sheet and seeing totally different results.
It's like the ratings, David. You look at them long enough, you can take any picture you want out of them.
That's hysterical. I was talking to a guy who used to work in our market. One time, he actually put a promo together saying he was number 3 in men from 7 to 7:15 a.m. Mm-hmm.
But David, you did that whole last segment about the Lions and Trent, the season ticket holder, having his ticket prices raised by 59%. Got this text during that break saying, guys, my Dolphins prices were the same since 2018. My tickets went up 45%. And so I looked up.
Disgusting.
I looked it up quickly, and Dolphins season ticket prices were raised. And it's the first time they've been raised in quite a while. Now, you could argue that it was time. It's just that the timing looks really bad. I mean, even in the Lions case, if they've gone 5 years without raising season ticket prices, at some point they do have to go up. 59% is a bit much.
I know it's capitalism and it's what the market demands. And listen, I tried to get Dolphins tickets for 2023. Couldn't get them. Not the tickets that I wanted to get. And they were not the cheap tickets, actually. They were the other way. And nope. And I signed up as early as you could sign up and what have you. No, I mean, demand for the Dolphins right now is as high as it's been probably since Ross has owned the team. So he can get away with it. We know he can get away with it. Oh, man. I don't know. I don't like it. Because the other thing that I think, Mark, is that now you're getting to the point where it's pricing another demographic out of the stadium.
Or it's just they're having to change their extra money, that all of it will go to Dolphin season tickets. That's their vacation 8 times a year.
So, well, I mean, does it make you want to root against the Lions and the Dolphins the rest of the way? In theory, both could lose out and miss the playoffs.
The Dolphins are not going to lose out, David. Stop it.
Oh, no, I know. You have them winning out. You have them winning the next 2 weeks, and the AFC East will already be in the bag. Here, I've been rooting for the Dolphins all year. I've actually been rooting for them for like the last 3 years really hard. I have. We have said this. You and I, we are on the verge of doing the show that we always wanted to do the show when the Dolphins were really good. Because even the year in 2008, when they went 11-5 and they won the division, Brady was hurt. The whole Wildcat thing, they caught people. We knew, I mean, Chad Pennington, the last good year of his career, we knew that team was maximizing its talent and record. They went in the first round, they got drilled. Okay, we knew that they were kind of paper mache 11-5. You know, when Tannehill's team made the playoffs at 10-6, we knew they were going to get whacked by Pittsburgh. They did. You know, last year's team staggered into the playoffs. Okay, going up there with a third-string quarterback, they weren't going to beat Buffalo. This team could go to the damn Super Bowl. It really could. And now there's a part of me that wants them to lose out.
Because they raise ticket prices.
Well, how big of a part of you is that?
Well, it's growing by the minute. Here's the other thing that bothers me. You haven't done anything yet. I know you got to put tickets on sale now and what have you, but I would be like, come on, how can I ask for more money from my fan base when I haven't done anything yet? I haven't even won the East.
And David, the only time you can raise ticket prices is when there's a waiting list for tickets. When someone like you who wanted tickets gets shut out to get them. That's how you create a demand. It's as simple as that.
I know, Mark. I know. It just doesn't sit well with me. They haven't won a playoff game since the Clinton administration. Come on. Hold up your end of the bargain.
So in your world, the only way you can raise ticket prices is if you've won a home playoff game.
No. A playoff game. They have not won a playoff game.
Okay, so I'm sorry. In order to raise ticket prices, you have to routinely win play. So the Patriots.
No, not routinely.
Well, no, I'm just asking.
Not routinely. Mark, I am asking that once in 20 years you win a playoff game. Yes, I am putting that unreasonable demand on an NFL team that once in a generation you win one play. Mark, the Giants last year won a playoff game. They sucked. Okay, one playoff win. That's it. I'm asking.
So they would have been justified in raising their tickets because of that.
Hey, I mean, one playoff win in 12 years. You want to raise your ticket prices, fine. But not one in 23.
Right, but again, the Dolphins haven't raised ticket prices since 2018.
I think the important.
Yeah, you know why? Because they haven't done anything.
You can raise them
because there was no demand.
It's how much they're raising them by. That's the egregious part, right?
I have a problem with the 60% ticket raise. If the Lions would have raised ticket prices by 20%, would have been fine.
Because that
the
would
fact
make
that you're
sense.
paying nearly twice as much as what you were paying a year ago is ridiculous.
Mark, I get it. Listen, I'm desperately still at 58 trying to be rich and successful. Okay, I am. I'm not against being rich and successful at all. I'm desperately trying to accomplish it before I die. Okay, I just think if you own a team, this is a partnership, supposedly. I get capitalism. I get it. Ticket demand, the whole deal. You know, the Blades are, damn near selling out whenever they want. I get it. You can raise prices. The Dolphins have the demand right now. I get they can raise prices. The Blades compete for and win championships. They're justified in any damn thing they charge. The
Even
Dolphins haven't done squat. I do hate the parking. I do. But at least there's a lot nearby I can walk from. And I have done that. I don't pay to park. Especially not $15.
I think it's
Golly.
20.
Notice I was only talking about ticket prices, not parking. And by the way, $10 to park for the minor league baseball. You got to be flipping kidding me. All right. I get capitalism. I get it. I just don't think it's right. Do something. Give me something. A playoff win. Hold off the Bills and win the East. Accomplish something. Win the damn in-season tournament and hang your stupid banner. Do something. Then you want to raise prices, fine. But golly.
The real question is, have the Los Angeles Lakers raised their ticket prices
With
since
the
winning?
it's a good. Probably.
And how does the Lions raising their ticket prices affect LeBron's legacy? More coming up.
When's that team meal?
Not soon enough.
Looks like you're going to need it. Go with the pancakes, David. That's my advice to you. You could use some pancakes and hopefully some warm syrup right now. That might cheer you up just a little bit. A little better than talking ticket prices and parking.
Well,
when you're talking Miami Dolphins, you're talking season ticket prices.
You still could be talking Super Bowl because they're going to win both these games. They're going to be hosting Buffalo with the division already in hand. And you're going to be chanting Tua or ticket prices, one or the other. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when and what's on tap. That's how we finish things out, all with a parking pass on Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hey, y'all, it's Ben Allen.
When it comes to singing and performing live shows, I'm in my comfort zone. When it comes to wanting to surprise my wife with diamonds, I'm a bit lost. That's why I go see my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. Jason and Todd helped me blow my wife away when we got engaged, and I've been applauding them ever since. If you're in the market for diamonds this holiday season, Southwest Florida has been giving Jason and Todd a standing ovation for over 20 years. Go see them and let Jason and Todd know that Ben Allen sent you.
Thanks, Ben. We're proud of you and your accomplishments and thrilled that you are part of our Diamond District family.
This holiday season, visit Jason and me at the Diamond District. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I'm an idiot, right? I just think it's a bit of a, you ask a lot of the fans. You ask them to spend a lot of time and money. I just think you need to hold up your end of the deal.
David,
David,
couldn't agree more.
That was fun. That's the best I've said. You can run that on Christmas.
Will do, for sure.
You could run them both.
Bud Elliott just tweeted out. Bud Elliott tweeted out 25 minutes ago, I expect the FSU Board of Trustees to approve a legal filing today, the first step in an exit from the ACC.
Look at that. Plugged in. Hey, David, the good news is the sun came up where you're at today, and we're not closing out the show at 7 a.m. local.
It's true. That is true. It's sunny and 35.
Come on, Seth, get your Festivus podcast up. The hell? Supposed to be up yesterday.
The Board of Trustees has put their schedule out for tomorrow at Florida State. All right. So think about it. They're having a Board of Trustees meeting on the Friday before Christmas. Huh. What do you think they're going to talk about?
I was laughing. They were on the way in. They were playing Wilbon Kornheiser complaining about Florida State complaining. It's like, well, if you want out of the ACC, get out of the ACC. It's like, come on, guys. You be smarter than that. At least have some idea what's going
The
on.
national media is very tone deaf to what's going on. I will say that.
But it's not that they can leave. If they could leave, they would have left.
Right.
Well, but
It's just
once
lazy to
again,
say.
these are people who don't cover college football. First off, Kornheiser doesn't leave his basement. Secondly, Wilbon's an NBA guy. Okay.
No, I know. It's just
right. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's frustrating to hear.
Yeah.
When they've got enough people that could hand them just a sheet that says, well, here's why.
Right. When they're
You
about
guys are
ready
going to do
to
that,
rant.
at least have 5 seconds of information.
Yep. It's pretty lazy. Hey, David, instead of taking a nap today, you should tune into a Hallmark Christmas movie. Start checking those off the list. You only got a couple more days.
You obviously don't know anything about the Hallmark Channel, do you? They will show Christmas movies till mid-January, and then they spend the whole month of July. It's Christmas in July. They bring the Christmas movies back. You know why? Because QVC at the same time is selling Christmas in July, and they're selling $8 billion worth of merchandise.
We have like 20 seconds till we go back on, but is there an update on your Christmas in July family reunion gathering thing?
Are you bringing a tree this year?
I think I'd rather pay for parking.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
$22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. The Diamond District bonus hour edition of Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. We do the Florida Sports Network thing from 6 to 9. We do 9 to 10 for you, our loyal audience, in the 239. It's kind of like ticket prices in the NFL, see, Mark. We would not have the Florida Sports Network part of Miller and Moulton if it was not for our loyal Southwest Florida audience. That still listens, and fortunately for us, really good numbers. And so, are we charging them money, or are we just thanking them for being our loyal audience?
David, if I could charge them money, I would. You're not allowed on this medium.
Before we do, you got the good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap today? Was right. There's something that's percolating out there.
Yes. Bud Elliott tweeted out about 30 minutes ago that I expect the FSU Board of Trustees to approve a legal filing Friday, the first step in an exit from the ACC.
The Florida State Board of Trustees has scheduled a meeting for tomorrow morning. Now, that may not sound unusual, but think about this. How many Board of Trustees do you know are getting together the Friday heading into Christmas weekend to do work? I mean, aren't you usually hiring or firing someone if that's the case?
Yep.
And essentially, Florida State is divorcing themselves from the ACC, wanting to fire the ACC.
And they will get yelled at today and told they're childish, and national media will have their narrative. They're doing the dirty work for the rest of this conference. And don't kid yourself.
They sure are.
They are taking every bullet
Yep.
for Clemson, North Carolina, Virginia, Miami.
Yep. We'll wear the black hat. We're sick and tired, and you guys can hide behind us because we've talked and we know how you feel, and you're coming with us. So, but we'll take the heat.
I saw this tweet from someone who covers he's a big Michael DeCourcy. He's a Big Ten studio analyst. Florida State is going to spend $150 million to get out of a contract so it can maybe make $30 million more in TV revenue. No, Michael, that's not what it's going to be. It's not even close. They're going to dismantle this conference so they don't have to pay a dime to get out. Because if you get 8 votes, you can do that. And that's why it has to happen before Cal, Stanford, and SMU join the conference. That's why the timing is so important. That's why the Florida State Board of Trustees has scheduled an emergency meeting on December the 22nd.
Mike DeCourcy, by the way, one of the 5 best college basketball writers in the country, and he's based out of Louisville, I believe. It's either Cincinnati or Louisville, but I thought it was Louisville.
So that's that.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Today in 1891, the first basketball game played by Naismith's rules. 18 students in Springfield, Mass. Hooped it up. 1933, Fox Film signed Shirley Temple to a contract. She was 5. That's NIL. 1937, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the full-length animated film from Disney, is released. 1941, in the NFL Championship, the Bears defeat the Giants, the first team to win consecutive titles. 1956, the Montgomery bus boycott ends. Kind of a landmark day. Tom Landry joins the Cowboys today in 59. Wonder how that would work out.
It started slow. Really picked up steam, however.
And ended badly, like most things do.
Right.
Speaking of which, Lombardi coached his last game today. It was a 20-10 loss to Dallas as he was coaching the Washington Redskins in 1969. Today in 1970, Elvis met President Nixon. It is the most requested photo from the National Archives. 1979, Gary Unger got benched. He was a hockey player. His consecutive game streak ended at 914 games. He wasn't hurt. He was benched by Coach Al McNeil. Today in 81 was the longest college basketball game ever. Cincinnati beats Bradley 75-73 in 7 overtimes.
Wow, a lot of scoring in the OT, huh?
Yeah. BYU beat Michigan in the Holiday Bowl today in 84. That would clinch them their share of a national title.
So they were the only team to go unbeaten that year. They went 11-0. Then they beat a 6-5 Michigan team in the Holiday Bowl. Maybe the worst team that Bo had while he was at Michigan. And because they were the only team with a donut, they won the AP National Championship. And I mean, there were blue bloods who were 2, 3, 4, and 5, who all finished 11-1. But BYU got it because of the donut. That's why I had to laugh when Trevor Maddich, a member of the 1984 Brigham Young National Championship team, stood up there on ESPN on College Football Selection Sunday and said that Florida State should not be in the playoffs simply because they're unbeaten. They played inferior competition. And I desperately wanted the SportsCenter host to then say, so are you going to get back your national championship ring at BYU?
Oh, well, they did it differently back then. It was voted. So...
Because can we recap who you guys played that year? Like Oklahoma and, all the other schools, Blue Bloods, who went 11-1, wouldn't have gone 12-0 with your schedule? I digress.
Today in 97, Barry Sanders rushed for 2,000 yards. Walter Hagen, Josh Gibson, Joe Paterno, Frank Zappa, Joaquin Andahar, and Flojo were all born today. Phil Donahue is celebrating his 88th birthday. Jane Fonda's 86. David Kingman and Samuel L. Jackson are each 75. Chris Everett, Ray Romano, Andy Van Slyke, Joey Koser, Kerry Webb, and Mark Ingram also all celebrating birthdays today. What did I miss, David?
Patton died today in 45. And Charles de Gaulle, elected president of France 65 years ago today in 58. And The Graduate, Mark, opened in theaters today in New York in 67.
I've got one word for you, David. Plastics. And if you haven't seen the movie, you don't know what the hell we're talking about. That is a great movie. That
It
movie
is a great
still plays.
movie. Yes. Yes. Hell of a
You've
premise.
heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
If you remade that today, would you star Zach Wilson and his mom?
It's just, you so beat me to it. You so beat me to it. See, that storyline today, taken straight from the headlines. It's like an episode of Law and Order. That storyline in the mid-'60s?
Right.
Oh, my goodness. It was scandalous.
For the good, we go to England, where a dog was adopted. It left 24 hours after being adopted. It was found living on her own 6.5 years later. I thought it was pretty good.
It was. Just I want to make sure you get all your stuff in, though. That's why I don't want to comment too much.
Fair enough. For the bad, we go to the not-so-friendly skies of Scoot Airlines. That is the cheap version of Singapore Airlines, where a 52-year-old Chinese national was on board, robbed $23,000 in cash from 3 fellow passengers while on the budget flight. Apparently got some out of 3 different backpacks, taking money from passengers while they were on the plane. Not sure how he got away with it initially, but did get caught leaving the flight and was apprehended. Finally, the ugly. Where a man who decided to not pay attention to those arms that come down to tell you a train's coming, drove around them and was hit by an Amtrak train. He was pushed nearly 100 yards as the train was going 78 miles per hour. He is taken to the hospital in serious condition. None of the passengers aboard the train were hurt. You know why? They were on a train, and this idiot decided to cross the train tracks with the arms down. Never should drive with your arms crossed, David. Never. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, December the 21st, 2023. It's the first day of winter.
So we have the Boca Raton Bowl at 8 o'clock on ESPN, okay? Forget this Thursday night football, whatever. Saints and Rams. Rams favored by 4, yada, yada, yada. Okay, we have 6-6 South Florida against 6-6 Syracuse. So, right, this is Capital One Bowl week personified. Got it? Syracuse, a 3-point favorite. We have a request in the Twitch chat room for a parlay of some kind tonight. What do you say you do the Rams in South Florida? You can then make the Rams, you get 2, and South Florida, you're getting 9. What do you say? You combine that? Do that, sucker? Little teaser there?
What we should do is see if there's any USF Bulls on the Rams and then parlay them to score a touchdown.
See, he could be, if he had money, he could really be a degenerate. Those $2 bets could go to 20 and 200 in a heartbeat.
Well, but think about it. And now, you can't afford his Lions season tickets anymore. If he gets all that money back, these $2 bets will become $3 and $5 bets. He'll be broke in no time.
Look, the Magic take on the Bucs tonight in the NBA on the road after losing last night at home against the Heat. Tough spot for the Magic. They're a 6.5-point dog. But the real game tonight that the Inter should be in is 7 o'clock. Can the Pistons end the 24 game losing streak?
Yep.
They are a 1.5-point dog at home against the Utah Jazz. This is the game that Trent Bally had circled as the win for the Pistons.
This is the one. I've got buddies going to this one.
Wow.
I'll sit in the lower bowl for about $20.
The Jazz played last night and lost in Cleveland.
Back to back. This is you guys have to admit this is the one, right? If they don't win this one, they're not going to win another
Well,
game.
I think they got back-to-back with Brooklyn. I think they could get one of those.
Okay.
That's where I think if they win, it's against Brooklyn. Great hockey game tonight, by the way. Vegas in Tampa to take on the Lightning. Panthers hosting the Blues.
That is some good hockey tonight. Yeah, I like that. All right, NFL. I guess we should, Amazon 8:15. Rams full point favorite. I really like them tonight. I do think at this point of the season, being on the road on a Thursday is tough. It's tough to last week the Chargers, obviously they got beat by 6 touchdowns, but they obviously quit on their coach and a backup quarterback and all that. The Saints, they're out right now. They're the 9 seed at 7-7. They desperately need this. They have a losing conference record. They're not winning many tiebreakers. If you're a Bucs fan, boy, are you a Rams fan tonight. But I really like the Rams. Over-under's 46.5. I don't know how much the Saints are going to score. I don't know if I have the Saints scoring much more than 17 tonight. So, if anything, I might take the Rams and the over-under, move the over-under up to like 52.5, turn the Rams into getting 2 and do that one also.
So you're going a little little 2-team parlay with the Rams and an under.
Right. And I'm turning the over-under into 52.5. Yeah.
And I'll go Rams and Bulls. I like the Rams and Bulls play for the teaser.
Okay. The game I'm calling tonight, Jacksonville's a 32.5-point underdog at 6:30 on the Big Ten Network against Zach Edey and the number 1 team in the country, Purdue. Would you take the Dolphins in 32.5 tonight?
No.
I would. I will. I'll put my money where my mouth is, all $2.
I'll tell you one basketball game I would bet tonight, though. I'll lay the 13.5 Kentucky at Louisville. Kentucky is going to destroy Louisville.
Boy, this is a tough spot for John Cal. Kenny Payne is his guy.
Yeah, I know.
And it could be his last game as Louisville coach if John Cal
probably
whacks
should
him.
be.
That's a great job, by the way. I know they're a mess right now, but that's a great job. That's Dusty May's future home right there.
Ooh.
That's a blank piece of paper and a pen. Yeah. If Dusty wants it, it's his.
And you're right. It's a terrific job.
Yeah. You can win national titles there. Like the Florida State job may come open, they'll come after Dusty May and Andy Enfield, but the Louisville job. Oof. Hey, have a great rest of your day. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI,